Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a Slice of Gaming podcast, episode 130, the first official episode of the year. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you all had a great holiday break. But I'm back. The crew's back. We're ready to talk about some games, some gaming news, and also a lot of predictions. We're setting up a lot of predictions episodes. We weren't completely gone. We had Soggies last week. We had our fantasy critic, our most anticipated, but where this is the official return to the weekly release of the Slice of Gaming podcast, which I'm very excited to come back with. And the two people heralding the return is first and foremost my man Fusion,
Go PlayStation. You're the PlayStation.
and the other guy right here next to me is Bench.
Hello, it is the year of the PlayStation, which we will predict.
Well, today is our PlayStation predictions. We're going to talk all things PlayStation, Sony, that whole business for the year of 2026, what we think is going to happen. We're also going to go over last year's predictions, which were very funny to read through. And then after that, we're going to talk. Well, actually, before that, we're going to talk about all the news that happened, what we played over the holiday break, just goofy fun into episode, all things considered. These are my favorite episodes of the year, so excited to get into it. If you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. And also like the podcast, review us, helps a ton. Check out Soggies. They went over. Let me tell you, if you want to watch 4 hours of Fusion screwing me, there you go. That's the episode. And also make sure you check out the most anticipated, the Fantasy Critic Draft, where I kind of screw Fusion. Really
exactly.
bad.
So I think
Yeah.
I think honestly you screwed me over first before anything happened. Like
No, because Soggies was first. We did Soggies first.
maybe I don't know.
Whatever. We screwed each other. By the way, sounds very crazy and suggestive now that I say it out loud. Otherwise, though, let's actually get into the news. Before we get into the news, actually, let's talk about holiday break. You guys did some gaming, I assume. Real quick, you want to talk about what we've been playing like over the holiday break and the stuff you've been getting into. I know, Bench, I got to start with you because you didn't play anything.
Honestly, not really over this holiday break. I mean, I played 2 games. I'm playing things currently that I'll talk about at the end of the show. But right now, over the holiday break, the main 2 games that I beat were Ninja Gaiden 4, which was an enjoyable experience, and Silent Hill F, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Very, very dark, gritty. I guess maybe I wasn't on the podcast, but I did play through Dispatch and loved that.
Great to hear.
Dispatch. Well,
Yeah, Dispatch, Silent Hill F. A lot of 2025 cleanup right there. That was kind of the same for me. I just went ahead and finished up Silent Hill F. I finished up Shinobi, Ragebound, a lot of just random stuff that I didn't get around to earlier in the year. And now, we're here today. And I guess I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls lately because I'm a freak. I want to go for my 100th Platinum. I want to make it Dark Souls. It's that thing. We were talking about it a little bit before the podcast where I'm like, I need to play, like, there's these other games I really need to play. And it was like, oh yeah, I'm playing through Path of Radiance on Nintendo Switch Online. I'm playing through, I want to start up Rebirth soon. But then, man, Dark Souls just hooks me really hard. Every single time I play through that game, I'm just like, oh, this is all I want to play. I realize what it is. I have a flow state of gaming where, like, there are 2 genres where I'm just like in a total flow state. Like, all other things are not important to me. I just want to play these. And that's 3D platformers and Souls likes where it's like, I just want to play this. That's all I want to play. But hopefully soon I actually get back to my senses and play some games I haven't played 1,000 times before.
I do have a question about your eventual Rebirth playthrough. Are you going to just beeline the story, or are you going to, like, I wouldn't say go for the platinum, but do the side content?
I'm going to do the side content because I'm a broken man. I got to do open world stuff in an open world game.
Thank you. Finally, someone in this Discord server. No one else has done all that, and it's fantastic. So
listen,
you won't let me down.
I'm gonna tell you now. I see a tower. I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna start ranting.
Listen, you're gonna learn to enjoy the towers.
Dog, I am not.
But
it's the year 2026. I don't want to see a tower.
But you'll get over the towers because of that gameplay.
We'll see. We'll see. I want to get started up soon. Fusion, what about you? What you been playing?
I will say actually near the end of the year, I think it was either right before Soggies. I did like a lot of those like low key emotional walking type games. Like I started off with Firewatch, which was
Nice.
a replay. Like I played Firewatch a decade ago, but I was like, it's been a long time. Let me play this. Then I played Anne Roger actually, which I feel like
Ooh.
everyone's talking about, especially kind of funny. Like it didn't end up making my list, but like it was a really special, cute little hour game that's like has some emotional stuff and like it's just a good time. And I went from that
Nice.
to another 2025 game, which is in a similar vein called Layla, and it's like one of those you're just using the mouse the entire time and you're going through the life of this mother, like this woman growing up into motherhood, and it's like a whole story about motherhood and that type of stuff, which was pretty good. Which I think I actually it had some cool stuff that I thought might have even been cooler than Aaron Rodgers, but I think Layla falls flat in other ways where it's overstays welcome a little bit, and
Mhm.
like some of the puzzles are like so puzzly where it's like you have no idea what you're doing. You're just clicking around on this screen with your mouse until something works and then it works. But played that, and then I played. And then after that, I was like, I played those three in a row. I was like, they were super short. I've been trying to get better at like not being on my phone when I'm playing a game. So I was like, let me play these short games where I put my phone in the other room, and for 2 hours I just play the game. So like that's why I kind of went that route of those games. And then did Dishonored, which was like a little bit of a larger game. I was like, okay, I moved from that to Dishonored, did the same thing there. I really like Dishonored. It's a fun game. I like Arcane as a studio. It's not like my favorite thing they've ever made, not really even close. I think Deathloop is like vastly better, but this Dishonored is also 10 years old, 11 years old, 15 years old, however old it is. It's a pretty old game at this point.
2012.
Yeah, I
What
was like,
about
I think it's like
Redfall?
13. I played like 20 minutes of that game. Dishonored is better than Redfall. And then from there,
Whoa.
I went to
Hot
Indiana
take.
Jones. I don't know if it was like almost like arcade games to me. When you look at arcade games, they also kind of remind me of um, machine games in a way, like just the
Oh
way they
yeah, it's that
look, the way they
Bethesda
play.
mold.
Yeah, it's like that
Yeah.
Bethesda type style thing. So I was like, well, I've already like I played Dishonored, and I'll go for this type of first person vibe, and I jumped into Indiana Jones, which I really also like. Like it would not have. Like it's not like one of the greatest games I've ever played, but I think it's just a solid, very good game experience. I think the stealth in Indiana Jones is actually better than Dishonored, which people love Dishonored gameplay, but again, 13 years old. Um, but yeah, so it was like those 5 games. Like I haven't played anything since, and they were mainly short. Like I think Indiana Jones took me the longest at 14 hours, but I've been trying to just ease my way back into playing things because I've been on a rut for quite a while of like any game. I tried to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in this time, and I put 6 hours in, and I was like, I'm not playing this for another 70 hours. So like that dropped. Baldur's
Mhm.
Gate 3 was started in this time frame. I put 25 more hours in. I was like, this is enough. That dropped.
25?
Yeah, I have over 40 hours now in Baldur's Gate 3 in my 2 attempts. I
That's
can't
really
do
good.
it. You know what I mean? Like I've tried. I feel like if I put 40
Yeah.
That's
hours
right.
in something, I've given it my fair shake. So it's like I tried 2 large games over the break because I'm like, this is the most time I'll have this time, and there's nothing for me coming up until like February for new game releases wise. It just didn't work out that way. So it's like, okay, I'll ease my way back with these small stuff.
Only man on a video game podcast I've ever met that's like, damn, I don't got anything to play. Nothing on the backlog.
Yeah, it is how
It's
it is.
okay. It's okay. We'll get you back in. We'll find something for you to play. Okay,
Friends.
maybe not that. You know what you got to do, Fusion? You got to go on the coolmathgames.com.
I want to play
It's
Run
doable.
too. Want to
Yeah,
play
Run.
Run
Oh
2.
my god, dude, Run 2. What a fucking banger.
I almost loaded up Hades last night, like Hades 2. I was like, I was, it was right before I was gonna go to bed. I was like, maybe I'll play some Hades 2. I didn't end up doing it, but like I might get back to just running some Hades 2 levels because that's kind of what I did earlier last year when I was also in a little rut. Even before 1.0 came out, I was like, let me go back to Hades 2, and I put like 10 hours into it, and I was like, that's what I needed at that time. I just needed like a pure gameplay,
Mhm.
turn the brain off and just play type of game.
Well, that was our holiday break gaming. Let's talk now about what happened during the holiday break news wise. I thought there were just two major things that felt deserved the spotlight before we get into the usual news roundabout. First and foremost, a really sad one. Vince Zampella, creator of not creator, but like very big figurehead within the Call of Duty franchise, was heading Battlefield Studios. Big guy, passed away over the break in a car crash. If you watch the video, which I don't recommend doing, it's very sad to watch that type of thing. Um, you just see it as like it was a pretty sudden car crash, a lot of speeding. It was a very sudden death. Passed away at 55. And this one sucks because like Vince Zampella, absolute legend, incredible talent. Very much less of a game director, like on the floor game developer, but more so of the producer role. He knew how to choose a team, he knew how to choose his people, and he was very, very good at that. And I mean, his track record speaks for itself when it comes to working on Medal of Honor and then transitioning over to Call of Duty, and then heading up production of Modern Warfare 1 and 2, which were very influential, very massive, and then creating Respawn and doing the Star Wars Jedi games, the Titanfall games, Apex Legends, and now going over to Battlefield. Battlefield 6 is such a major success. It sucks to lose such an incredible talent, especially when he was so young and clearly had way more to give. So yeah, really rough. It sucks to know that it's like we're kind of reaching that point in the industry where a lot of the old legends are starting to pass away. Recently, we had I think his name Itagaki from Team Ninja, who was also an extremely talented developer. He passed away. It just it's really starting to set in stone just how old the industry's starting to get, and we're starting to lose a lot of incredible talent.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
for
one
sure.
where obviously came out of nowhere. Like I was scrolling Twitter and I saw it and I forget if I was the one who posted it in the Discord or someone just immediately put it
I
in the
think Moon
Discord. I was
did.
like, what the? Yeah, I think it was Moon. He tagged us. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, it was just. And at the time, all we knew was like he passed away. I forget if we initially knew it was a car crash or what was the cause. But either way, it's like
Mhm.
when people talk about legends in the industry, like we throw around the word legend a lot in the industry, when in reality there's actually like a very few actual legends, and Vince is one of them. Vince is that guy where it's like if you had a studio that was struggling at all, you throw Vince on the project, it's now great. You know what I mean? Like it felt like he could just go into any studio, any workflow, and just get it done. Like everything he touched turned to gold. From Call of Duty to Titanfall to the Jedi games to even the recent Battlefield that he was sent over to Battlefield Studios to help get them in a spot of, hey, we need to get this franchise back. And that was the biggest Battlefield launch ever. Like that is because of Vince Zampella being able to lead those studios. So it's just like he had so much more life left and just so much more to give to this industry. And it's just like it just sucks. You know, I mean, the Point Blank sucks, and not much to say about it. I just prayers for his family. Obviously, it's just like I just for me personally, he's made some of my favorite video game experiences, especially on a multiplayer stage of all time.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. Wish his family nothing but the best.
Just one of those stories that you wish you didn't have to cover, but obviously it's a very important thing to let know. And yeah, man, I'm wishing him the best. I already saw. I don't know if you guys caught this. The guy who was working over at Ubisoft with the Division already transitioned over to Battlefield in that studio. I assume he's taking over Vince's position. I don't think he's going to be able to fill that spot because I don't think Vince is not a replaceable person. Which I don't know. We'll see what happens with the future of Battlefield. I think he set it up in a good position, but obviously we're not going to know the full breadth of everything for a while now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say whoever fills in that position will not. I mean, I'm obviously not gonna count them out. Like, hopefully they do great,
Of
but it's just
course.
like you're living up to like it's like when Kojima left. Obviously, not to that exact level because Kojima actually gets in there and directs the games and stuff. But it's like you're not
Mhm.
just gonna fill this person's role. Like legends are legends for a reason.
Yep. Let's talk about something a bit lighter. 007 First Light was not trying to make a pun there. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's
First
pretty crazy.
I did not. That's not what I was trying to do. I literally I didn't even think about it. Okay. Anyways, 007 First Light delayed to May 27, 2026. Warrior 64 put this out there. And there was an official statement. Hello, everyone. Today we are sharing an update regarding 007 First Light as we have decided to move the game's release by 2 months to the 27th of May 2026. 007 First Light is our most ambitious project, and the team have been fully focused on delivering an unforgettable James Bond experience. The game is progressing well and is fully playable from beginning to end, so these additional 2 months will allow us to further polish and refine the experience, ensuring we deliver the strongest possible version at launch. Uh,
Yeah,
Not too surprising it got delayed. It is funny they basically just took GTA State.
yeah. But this
Yeah,
game
I
needed more time to cook.
Yeah,
For
it
sure.
needed more time to cook, and I think it was that situation where it's like this probably was always going to be the release date, or at least May, April. Like this was going to be the area they wanted before GTA announced they're going to be there. You know what I mean? This is probably always like, well, GTA now in May, we were targeting May, we can't do that. So, but we can't be after GTA, so they were probably forced into March. So that delay of GTA was actually probably great for them, where they're like, okay, this works out. Let's just put our game where we wanted it initially. And it obviously needed that polish because the last time we saw it, it looked not great, as
Yeah,
in
it did
ran at
not
about
run very well.
yeah.
Uh,
Even though the
I
last
heard.
few times we've seen it, it's looked better to me.
Yeah, I was about to say the CES footage apparently ran a lot better. It was weird that like, hey guys, we're finally unveiling this game, and that was the way they showed it with a lot of weird
Yeah,
looking textures, and it didn't run very well.
I wonder what the outlook on this game would have looked like if they waited like 2 months after that state of play and then did the state of play. Because I forget when that state of play was. Was that like October, September of last year? Either way, I wonder if they would have saved it to like December or even this month, like, and it looks like how it ran out because people were excited for that game, and people obviously still are. Like I am one of those people. Um, but I wonder how the outlook would look like if it was like, hey, this game actually looks like it's running normally. Because yeah, every time I've seen it now, like in snippets or clips or even yeah, like you said, CES or the Nvidia put out a bunch of videos like a week ago with their like new DLSS type stuff, and like they did Requiem, and 007 was one of them. And obviously these are high tier PCs compared to the PS5 that it was showcased on in that state of play. It was like, but there was zero frame drops. It looked way better. It's like that's how it should have been shown the first time, but now just keep showing us that it's improved, and people will be on board.
Yeah, right there with you, man. Excited to see more. Excited for this game to come out. I played through the Hitman games. I forgot to mention that I played through Hitman 2, and 3, and those games rocked. I really, really dig them. So I'm a big fan of IO and their style of gameplay now, and I'm ready to see what 007 is gonna feel like. I'm really excited for that bluffing mechanic. I feel like that's like underrated. I'm like, yeah, I want to bluff.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm excited.
Anyways, moving on to our next story, and now we're actually in the swing of things. I cut out a decent amount of news story because I did want to make sure we got to the predictions portion, but I thought this was a pretty major thing. Xbox announces a developer direct. We're obviously going to talk about this next week when it actually happens on January 22nd. But from the official account, join us on January 22nd at 10 a.m. PT for an exclusive look at Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and Beast of Reincarnation. If you remember, this is the Game Freak game that was revealed last year, and we were like, oh, so this is what that looks like instead of, and that's how Pokemon looks now, and this is what this game looks like. Okay, cool. So interesting to see that there, especially. We're probably going to get a secret game. We already heard quite a bit of rumors of what it is, and let me tell you, not looking
Dog
forward to
shit.
that one. Man has a
I don't know if
opinion
you're
that
gonna
he
say all
didn't.
that, but
I mean, yeah,
Well,
the secret rumor isn't exactly pleasing. However, like Fable Blowout, extremely excited for that. And listen, Forza in Japan has the potential to be something great only if you can get out of the car.
I was just about to say. I was
Gotta
just about to say.
you've got to let us get out of the car, walk around in Japan, take some cool pictures, maybe even like run around like a Ninja Gaiden game. That'd be pretty epic.
Okay, I didn't say all that.
But
Maybe
I
letting me pull out a gun and turn it to Call of Duty.
my biggest peeve with Forza Horizon 6 is the fact that it's not going to be on PlayStation day one, which I think is a massive, massive miss considering the reports that Forza Horizon 5 was the best-selling digital game on PlayStation last year, and the fact that the Xbox ecosystem isn't exactly evolving. So I think this is like maybe one of the Xbox games where they probably should have delayed it until that PlayStation port's ready, due to the fact that it could have been had such an impactful day one launch. And like I probably would have been there. Get out of the car, not get out of the
Mhm.
car.
We gotta really pull that get out of the car narrative and charge it forward because I feel like we don't have enough
Hmm.
people even thinking about the idea of getting out of the car. Uh,
Yeah.
if do you think in this trailer, if they get out of the car, do you think Bappa ever apologizes to us, or is he gonna just try to like be like, "Oh no, that doesn't count"?
I mean, he's gonna play it up like it's the next big thing in Forza and act like we never
True.
championed it.
True.
He'll say it's trailer only footage. That's footage only for the trailer, guys. There is-
Wait for the game's full release.
yeah, I'm
But,
gonna
like,
Uh,
let me ramp off Mount Fuji though. Like that's gonna be
yeah,
super epic.
I was about
that's
to
what I
I
hope
was
for.
thinking that.
Is I want to cause property damage. Like that's my issue with like Forza or like racing games, especially the simulation. I know Horizon's the more arcadey, but I don't like with the simulation games. So you hit someone else's car, they're like, no. And I'm like, dude, I want to kill this guy and leave him with nothing.
Oh,
Like, why can't I do that in these games? I want more like Burnout, like where it's just like, yeah, you are causing billions of dollars of property damage. Like, fuck yes, dude. Instead, it's
Yeah.
like, let's have a race. It's like, I don't care about
Yeah.
racing in this
I-
racing game.
I am curious if they're gonna have like a next spin on Forza besides it just being on Japan. Because I mean they've had that
just a gaming Japan.
I feel like it's just gonna be Forza.
have
Japan.
property damage. Have property
and
damage.
getting out of the car.
Yeah.
Like have
Like
I don't know Forza well enough as in release to release, but every time people talk about like I can't wait to see this new Forza, all the changes, dude. They all look the same, just a different area. This is not like a groundbreaking
Japan,
game. Like I would
I
never
mean
understand
Japan
like
is that area though.
and that's true. And Japan's like the coolest spot in recent years, but it's like I would never understand where people are like, dude, I can't wait to see what Forza shows us. You know what Forza's gonna show you.
Yeah.
It's
Bob,
Forza.
Bob, when you listen to this, please tag me and let me know your thoughts
Yeah.
because
I mean,
my
please do.
man is
And
not happy.
I could be totally wrong, and they could have more like actual changes year over year. But I played Forza Horizon 4 and 5, and not enough to like actually know like the differences and stuff. But like I played both those games, and I was like, this is just Forza to me, and it almost feels that's just racing games to me in general. I played the Crew compared to Forza; they're both just car games to me. Obviously, there's some differences, but
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do something insane other than maybe getting out of the car where the car game changes. It's the same thing with sports video games. It's not a flaw of the game. It's just it always makes me laugh when it's the same people every year who are like, I wonder what they're gonna do with FIFA this year. What's the big change in FIFA? It's like it's a soccer game and nothing is gonna change.
I will say,
Yeah.
Playground, this is a must show out for them. I think they will show up to the occasion and give us a great look at Fable. When do we think this is going to release? Because originally you'd say fall, but that is GTA 6, and I think they'd like to avoid that.
I've been thinking, what's it called, September for this game. I feel like it just like you get it right before GTA, you probably before Halo campaign evolved and whatnot. And you just
I
get it
could
as
even
like
see
kind
like
of
an,
your big game beforehand.
I could even
Uh,
see an August.
Yeah, I could see August as well. I'm curious about Fable. I've been like a very big Fable skeptic. I don't really care that much about the game right now because they haven't really shown me anything to care about. But if I watch this and they convince me and they show like, oh, this is very much an RPG. There's a lot of choice and consequence. The combat looks fun, stuff like that. Then I'm like, okay, I'm back in. I'm ready. But like right now, it's like they keep showing it like they're not allowed to show it. Like they keep showing it like, hey guys, we got behind the scenes footage of Fable. It's like you own the game, just show it. So
This is
hopefully this is
Some
like the
dad
actual.
recording off their phone. They're like,
Yeah,
this is all we can
exactly.
show you, man.
Like it's
this
always like
isn't
2 milliseconds of gameplay, and I'm like, dude, you own this. Yeah,
this
but
is an
that's
open
frustrating.
world fantasy RPG that's been in development for like 7 years. I am expecting big things, and I hope they deliver.
Mhm. Yeah, right there with you. Fusion, I know this is your second most anticipated game of the year. So what's the feeling on Fable right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just super excited. I want, like Ben said, I want this to be a huge blowout. Like, give me 40 minutes with this game. Maybe not that long. I don't know how long they'll actually be, but like, if you're giving me less than 20 minutes, I'll be mad. Like, give me 25 minutes here. I want this to be the game you show off the most, which for some reason I feel like it's going to be Forza, just because they like showing like a 30-minute race every time you see Forza. They're like, here's this 30-minute race of you and your friends. Um, I hope Forza obviously gets the most. I mean, I hope Fable obviously gets the most time here, and just give me 25 minutes of just show me. And I want them to go through a mission with me. Like I don't even want just raw gameplay. I want moment to moment. What does a quest look like in Fable?
Yeah,
And it's
like
like that's why I
go to
hope
a
they bring
bounty
it.
board, grab
Yeah,
something. Oh, there's a monster on the other side of town. You go hang out with your companion or something. Just little things like that. Show me like
yeah.
what the
Like
moment to moment's gonna feel like.
I'm not. I'm sure that what we're gonna get is the same thing we always get, where it's gameplay, but it's cut up in section, where it's like here's this, and now we cut, and we're over here. Like no, I want straight up 10 to 15 minutes of this is our character going through starting this dialogue and they're about to do this quest line, and then we watch this quest line and we see them do combat and we do whatever. That's what I want.
Yeah, right there with you. Hopefully hopefully we get a good showing of Fable because I am intrigued by that game. Now, Bench, we got to talk about our boys. Game Freak. First and foremost, very weird for a third choice, but I'm kind of into it. I do want to know more about this game. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be good. It is funny seeing the words Game Freak and Souls-like in the same paragraph. I'm intrigued. I hope it's good. This is like the type of gameplay showcase I want. Like, give me the full behind the scenes what this game is going to be like.
I think the most interesting thing about this showcase is I assume we're going to get video footage of in-game Freak. So
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it was just see video footage of Game Freak. It's just like an old Japanese apartment, completely dilapidated. It's like, oh damn, no wonder the Pokemon games look like that. These working conditions.
Well, I wonder if they're gonna have to like cover up Pokemon in that studio.
Oh yeah, obviously they're not gonna say the words Pokemon.
Well, I mean, like in the background, maybe a little Pikachu figure in the background. I'm curious.
Yeah, they're covering them up with a towel. It's gonna be a thing of just like they don't want to deal with Nintendo lawyers. They're gonna go like, from the creators of that franchise that you guys know very well. We're not gonna say it, but you know what it is.
I just want Pokemon Gen 10, so get to work on that, Game Freak.
Oh, it's been so long since the last Pokemon game. I get it. This is the fan base I deal with, Fusion. Either the most annoying, whiny complainers of all time or the biggest glazers in the world. I hate being in the middle, dog. I hate it. Let's talk about the secret game, which currently the rumors are telling us that it's a Double Fine game. It's the multiplayer Double Fine game.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it could be good. I want to go in with an open mind. Okay,
Tim Schafer needs to get a hold on his studio.
Yeah,
like their last quality game was Psychonauts. Like, what are we doing here?
Okay. Keeper was good.
I've heard mixed things on.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to say about Double Fine right now. I'm terrified for Double Fine because Keeper probably sold 4 copies. Let's be honest. Like, genuinely, that game did not sell at all. No one was even playing it on Game Pass. I played it, and it's the worst Double Fine game I've played personally. I think it's a fine game. Like, it's not a bad game. I think it's a fine game. But it's that thing of, I should hear Double Fine's your secret announcement, and I should get excited. And it's like I have zero excitement right now, which it's sad to think about. When I love Double Fine as a studio. I love Psychonauts 2 so much. I'm like, if their next thing is a multiplayer game that no one's gonna play, like no offense, no one's going to play this thing. How many more misses, quote unquote misses, can Double Fine have from a sales standpoint? Psychonauts 2 wasn't a great selling video game. Keeper sold literally nothing as far as I know. And this multiplayer game is not going to sell anything. So it's like, I'm concerned as Double Fine as a studio. I know Xbox and Phil Spencer has always said, like, we like Double Fine because they can be the creative team here under the studios and they can do whatever they want. But it's like, man, if Double Fine comes out with a multiplayer game and it really is not going anywhere, I'm now officially concerned for the future of Double Fine and making games. I'm also more just concerned of, hey, Double Fine, where's the next Psychonauts, or where's your next actual like platformer here that's not just this weird little side stuff. It's like I'm ready. It's been 5 years since that Psychonauts 2. I'm ready for you to show me something of substance.
Well, there are things like Tim Schafer is a creator that I think they just give time to kind of figure out what he wants to do next. However, I think you need to like beat the drum and say, no, get to work. You work at Microsoft at a certain point. I know that's harsh, but we pay you to make games. You got to deliver.
I feel like I'm not as like on the side of like, oh, Double Fine screwed as y'all are. I will say, I feel like over the years I've been more and more anti-developer. I'm like super anti-developer when it comes to Double Fine, when it's like, we want to make a multiplayer game where you're like messing around with like jars or whatever the fuck the like trailer was or leak thing. And I saw that, I'm like, dude, if I'm Phil Spencer or Matt Booty, I'm like, fuck you. Work on Banjo. Work on Psychonauts. Work on something interesting that's gonna sell. You are not doing this. I promise you. And I know that's harsh, but I'm like, I love this developer. I want them to stay around. And I feel like as a developer to stay around under a big company like Microsoft, you have to kind of make something a bit more sellable. It's like, I'm not trying to say like, oh, this game's doomed for failure or this Double Fine screwed or I hate Double Fine doing new things. I want them to do new things and creative things. But it's also like, you have to understand at a certain point, these games need to sell. It's still a business, especially if you're under a scary ass company like Xbox, which, hey, they say they want Double Fine to do creative, cool things. They said the same thing about Tango, and look what happened there. So I don't know. I'm worried.
I'm there with
I
you.
want them to succeed.
I know, like, the anti-developer thing is kind of harsh, but at the same time,
Not actually
it's
anti-developer,
necessary.
by the way.
Sometimes, like, the creatives don't know best. Sometimes they get behind an idea they think is great and rally the troops.
Oh, that's
When
true.
that
That's true.
idea is not exactly reasonable. I don't know if Keeper is one of those, but this game sounds like one of those that I think. I mean, I think it has been a thing with Microsoft. They've given a lot of freedom, and they've kind of the developers have paid a price for the freedom they've been given.
Wait,
So I think maybe you need to step in a little bit.
I think the one thing I'll say about Keeper, that was just like a really shitty release date. That should have came out in like January, February. Like even if what Fusion you say like it's the weakest Double Fine game you've played, I still think that type of game does well in a January where there's nothing else to play, so everyone's going to be talking about it. And a lot of the people I do talk about, they're like, no, this was really interesting. This was really cool. So I feel like those like kind of artsy style games, it's like, okay, let's bring it into January. Don't release it in the middle of October, a week before Outer Worlds 2, a month before like Call of Duty, all these other major releases coming out around it where it's just going to get lost in the shuffle.
Also,
Yeah.
releasing games just on Xbox anymore is just not a viable option.
Yeah, it
Xbox
didn't
as
even
a
have a PlayStation
platform,
version.
Xbox as a platform is dying as harsh as it is, and you need to put all your games on other platforms or they're not going to sell because no one's talking about the Xbox platform. They're talking about the Xbox games, and this is one of the games that fell through those cracks. I also think this would have been a really good Switch 2 game. Really good Switch 2 game.
Right there with you. Agreed. Yeah, we'll see. Tune into our Xbox predictions next week. Hopefully we'll be a little more positive. I am excited for this developer direct. I think these are usually pretty good. I'm really interested to see more Fable, and I'm also really interested in Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah, I don't know much
Shout
about
out
that
to
game, but
Forza.
I hope it's cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Forza. Shout out to Forza. Let's move into our next story. Still in the Xbox world. I'm sorry, guys. We'll get to PlayStation soon. Xbox 2026 plans, according to Windows Central, Jez Corden mainly. Now, I talk a lot of shit about Jez Corden, but he does get some things right. Xbox is eventually working on a Fallout 3 and New Vegas remaster. Obsidian is working on 4 new projects. BlizzCon 2026, new Diablo 4 DLC, WoW, The Last Titan, and likely the rumored StarCraft shooter. Machine Games is working on a Rainbow Six Siege-like multiplayer title. I forgot about that one. But Wolfenstein 3 is in the cards. Ninja Theory's next game will be more combat involved. Call of Duty on Switch 2. New Age of Empires in the work. Probably new OD trailer. Xbox Ally Experience is essentially the next-gen Xbox experience. Next Xbox will be a PC, but will play One and Series X games. Excuse me. We could see an OEM Xbox PC in 2026. Xbox console players will expect when engaging with the device. I don't give a shit. Fuck off, Jess. When it comes to the actual interesting stuff here, we're gonna talk about Call of Duty on Switch 2 in a bit. I am very intrigued by this Ninja Theory because apparently they canceled Project Mara. This is also Jez Corden. They canceled that. They're working on Hellblade 3. I don't know how you feel about that, Fusion, as someone who played Hellblade 1 and 2.
Not great. I was like, I really wanted that horror game. Like, I thought that horror game was a great idea from them. I think the horror elements in both Hellblade games are actually really done well. Like, especially there's certain parts in Hellblade 2 where I'm like, I was actually a little spooked. Like, you did some cool stuff here. And it's just the fact that Hellblade 2 kind of fell flat for a lot of people, and it was in development for a very long time. And it is visually and technically impressive, but like, a lot of it is just not a great time. So it's like the fact that I was like, okay, maybe we'll get Project Mara here and they'll do something different for once. And it's like maybe a game with zero combat at all, which combat is really bad in these Hellblade games. So I'm like, okay, this is a good idea. You're not gonna have combat. This is great. We don't have to play like gameplay combat wise. We're just gonna go through a horror type element game like the other ones out there. And I was like, okay, that's a cool idea. And then for them to cancel it and double down on Hellblade, which is already a franchise that people like. Some people love it, but it's not like a great selling franchise. I think it did well. Hellblade 2 did well when it came over to PlayStation 5. I'm not sure, or if it's
No,
even
it
out on
didn't.
PlayStation.
It's all
Okay.
50K.
Okay. So like maybe people just don't care about Hellblade anymore is what it is. But I would rather them this. I don't know. It's just like I would rather a new IP if they're not overdoing another Hellblade. I think Hellblade's kind of finished
Yeah.
in my eyes. I'm like Hellblade should be done. These were your 2 games, your package games. Let's end it there, or maybe come back in a decade or whatever when you're like, hey, Hellblade's back. People would be more excited. But they go from Hellblade 2, which fell flat, to be like, hey, we're canceling our unique project and then just going into another Hellblade game. To me, sounds like a I don't know if they're running out of ideas or if this was Xbox
Mhm.
being like, hey, we really like Hellblade over here. It's like our kind of equivalent to a Sony cinematic experience. We don't have a lot of those. Can you guys do another one? I'm not sure, but it's like, this is as mute as I could be about a quote unquote leak reveal of like, hey, they're going to make new Hellblade games.
I mean, just you got to think about it like this. We're going to be sitting here in 2030. Hellblade 3 is going to get revealed then. Going to release in like late 2031. It's going to score a low 70 on Metacritic. It's going to be like 5 to 10 hours long. And you were like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Hey, he didn't say all that. I mean, though, I'm not disagreeing. I don't know. I maybe it is just the quote of "it's gonna be more combat. They're gonna focus on gameplay more." Is so funny to me because it's like, why even have gameplay in these games if you weren't gonna really focus on it? That always like just boggled my mind. So hopefully it's more action based. I want Ninja Theory to make more action games like they used to with like Heavenly Sword and DMC Devil May Cry. Less like Bleeding Edge, nothing like Bleeding Edge for the love of God, but more like their older action games, which are really sick still. I don't know why they decided to go down this really sad woman crying games. I don't know. I'm being mean. I hope Hellblade 3 is good. Hopefully. I'm curious about what's it called? This Xbox working or no, the Fallout 3 and New Vegas remaster. These are like the least hidden secrets in the world we kind of knew about Fallout 3. New Vegas, I think, is new. We don't know. We didn't know explicitly about that. You have to assume, Bench, like we get these sometime soon. I assume Fallout 3 maybe next year and New Vegas the year after.
I'm very curious about this. I assume they might have kind of gone a little all hands on deck after Oblivion because that sold well and was pretty
Mm-hmm.
well received despite its performance. So yeah, I could even see like a Fallout 3 getting revealed at the Game Awards. I don't think it'll be another shadow drop from that team. I think it'll be something a little more hype behind it, especially because Fallout is such a like a big franchise right now. I could see Game Awards and maybe like a season 3 teaser this time next year for the show. Yeah, I mean, there's all time great time to be a Fallout fan. New Vegas, I'm
Yep.
very curious about as a remake because now I'm just gonna wait to play like New Vegas because I've started it a couple times. But thing is like we need like a Fallout 5 sooner rather than later. And Todd Howard wants to
That's
be a
gonna be
part of
later.
it. Todd Howard wants to be a part of it, but even if they do like a spin-off, like give that to Obsidian. I think a lot of
Agreed.
Obsidian's current issues are kind of them trying to do their own thing and it being
Agreed.
great, but nothing crazy. So I think if they had like a cage of the Fallout franchise to follow, I think them as a team right now could do something pretty special.
I think this is a really hot take. I don't know how hot of a take this is. I think Obsidian is really shit at world building. I've kind of know specifically making their own worlds. Where I look at something like Avowed and the Outer Worlds, and I just don't really get into the worlds and the stories there. What I do get into is the dialogue, which not in Avowed. Avowed's dialogue was kind of stinky, but I did really dig the dialogue in Outer Worlds 1, and I think they're really good at that type of thing, but they're just not good at working on their own IPs comparatively to what is arguably their best games: Fallout New Vegas, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, and South Park: The Stick of Truth, all based off other universes that technically could say New Vegas, like that was a lot of the original Fallout team that worked on New Vegas, but still, that is not their IP. And I'm almost like,
Yeah.
if I'm Xbox, I'm like, Obsidian, we're just gonna give you other IP. Don't work on your own thing. Work on other people's things. And maybe that seems, against the
Well,
creator. I'm
we've even,
anti-creator. I'm gonna say it.
we've even seen from Obsidian they can handle so many projects at once.
Yeah.
So they can work on their own thing, but also like if Xbox and Microsoft don't greenlight a Fallout spinoff, whether it be New Vegas 2 or in another place in America or even not America,
Mhm.
within the next year at Obsidian, then it's a studio mismanagement.
100% agree. I think at this point, it's like it was weird when I saw a lot of like original New Vegas team members, like kind of like the story lead, Tim Kaine recently, and they're like, "I'm not working on Fallout, guys." It's like, why? Like, what is wrong with you guys working on another Fallout game? I don't really understand why they're so aggressively saying they're not working on Fallout. Maybe it's a reverse psychology. I don't really believe that either, but it's like it just feels asinine to me. It's like, why not just have a Fallout game being worked on by Obsidian? Clearly, they've done it once before. Let them do it again. They're really good at that.
This is just one of those cases where Xbox needs to tell them you're working on this. Because
Agreed.
Fallout is such
Anti-creator.
it's a fever pitch right now with Fallout. I haven't watched season 2, but I've heard great things. I know Fusion has
Same.
been watching it. But I just everything about Fallout right now, and it's just the show without any video games. I guess you could say 76, but nobody plays that game. But
People
just
play it. That's the most frustrating thing, Bench, is a lot of people play it.
but you've got to go all in on Fallout with a new
Agreed.
game.
Yeah, especially with like how shit the anniversary edition was for Fallout 4 and apparently like all the other Fallout related things that Bethesda releases. It's like, okay, can you guys like figure out this IP? Because like you have a golden IP here and you're kind of like screwing it right now.
Well,
And
the thing is,
apparently,
like Todd
the
Howard, he wants to be involved in all this, and he's not getting
that's the
any
thing.
younger.
It's not even
So
that's not even like guaranteed though. We don't know that for sure if it's
Yeah.
like a Todd Howard he wants to be involved.
Well, if even not him, that studio wants to, and those people like it's that
Yeah,
same
fair.
core studio for the last 20 years, and they're not getting any younger. So you've got to have that core next team to figure something out, and I think that's a initiative that Xbox needs to start because I don't think they're going to start that.
Fusion, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, that's the thing to me is now like watching the Fallout show and really enjoying it. Like I'm keeping up with it week to week. I didn't realize how much of a golden child Fallout was. Like from just an actual public perspective, like people love Fallout. Like this is one of the
Oh, it's
biggest
huge.
gaming IPs in the world. Like this thing is huge, and the fact that it's like it's been a decade since the last one. They won't remaster or remake any of their other games for some reason. Obsidian refuses to touch the IP anymore, or maybe you're not allowed. I don't know. Where it's just that thing of like, this
Mhm.
does feel like they're fumbling over and over again. Where Bethesda, by themselves, a company that can only put a game out once a decade, you can't wait till 2035 for the next Fallout game. When the last one was
Yep.
2015 or whatever. It's just like it can't happen with a franchise this giant with a TV show happening right now. It's like even Naughty Dog knew when they put the Last of Us show out, it's like we should remaster our games. And it works.
Yeah.
Like this is something that works. You know what I mean? Like people like me right now, if there was a remaster or a remake of any Fallout game, I'd be on it right now. But because there's not, I'm not playing them, and I have no desire to go back and play these old Fallout games. So it's like they're losing potential buyers like myself who would spend money on this IP because they just like they're just I don't know what they're doing. They're just holding on. I just feel like they're just holding on to Fallout for like either the right time, or they just don't care about it as much as we think they do, or like or the next Skyrim's taking priority. Whatever it is, it's just
It's
like
just weird because it feels like they were taken aback by like how popular the show was. It's
yeah,
like, how are you surprised? I don't know how you think like
Yeah.
Fallout isn't this huge thing. It is massive. It is arguably at this point arguably bigger than Elder Scrolls, which is crazy because Skyrim is like the 10th best-selling game of all time. So it's like I don't know. It's frustrating as a fan of this franchise. And you want to know the worst thing is like you'd say it's like, okay, well, I just played the original New Vegas or 3. You can't! On the Steam versions don't work for those games. They're really garbage. You
yeah,
literally, if you ask New Vegas, it's like, hey, how do I play Fallout New Vegas? Okay, so first you install some mods. I have to install mods to play
yeah.
this game on Steam?
That's exactly why I
Yeah.
haven't loaded up the other Fallouts. Even the latest Fallout, which was what 2015 or whatever. I'm sure I could, but
Yeah,
like
4.
every time I talk about, hey, I'm gonna go play in the Fallout game, well, everyone's like, well, these are the mods you need. It's like if your game is just like not optimized or just there's certain areas that aren't fun because of Bethesda jank, and I need to mod it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Just remaster,
Yeah.
remake them, and make them more modern and make them more fun to play because it seems like everything else in these games are awesome. And it's like I don't know, and I'm also not a big sandbox RPG guy. I think that's why I wasn't falling in love with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and that's why I think I struggle with like Bethesda in general. Is like I don't like, I'm not creative enough to make my own story. I want you to give me a protagonist, and I play a story through their eyes, like The Witcher or a Ghost of Yotei or like those type of games. So like Fallout and Bethesda in general have never been that thing for me where it's like I have to create this story in this world, but I understand how rich the side narratives and the characters and the people you will meet are in this world. So it's like if
Yeah.
they could just if I could just get to that point, I would feel like I would fall in love with it. But it's just like all their games feel so old to me when I try. Because Bethesda games even 10 years ago were considered old for the time. Like Bethesda's just
Yeah.
old. They
Yeah,
make
Fallout
old
4.
jank video games. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like
I love the shakiness, but it's also like, listen, man, I can't get new people into this. I just can't.
And
This
well,
is my garbage. I love it.
yeah, so it's a game that felt old in 2015. Imagine how it feels in 2026. Like it feels super dated. So it's just like that's the thing where I can't get into them. So I like on my scale of like remakes and remasters I want in the industry, it's like Fallout's the last giant franchise for me personally where I'm like they need they need a BioShock level, they need something up there where it's just like give us a modern version of these games.
And Bloodborne, right?
and,
Yeah, Bloodborne. Yeah, I'm in
and
franchise, but
talking
yeah, yeah.
talking about Bethesda, I don't know if it was in Jez's article, but there is the hotly rumored Starfield 2.0 and new expansion that is
Shut up.
heavily rumored. And listen, it's also coming to PS5. I am excited to go all in on Starfield this year. I am hyped.
He said this when Starfield came out.
Listen, now that it's going
Now-
to be on it's going to be on PlayStation. It's going to have 2 DLCs that add content to the game, and it's not going to be completely fixed, but there's going to be a lot of tweaks in a 2.0 update. I am excited to
You're
become
gonna
the
play it,
Starfield
Vince?
guy.
You're gonna
I
play it, and you're gonna go, damn, this game's still boring as shit. What a shocker!
No, I'm going to be the Starfield guy this year. That is my Xbox
No, I'm
prediction.
gonna be
Because
the
I won't be
Starfield
here
guy
on
this year.
because I won't be here next week. I will be the Starfield guy this year.
We'll see. We'll see. Man, why did you remind me of Starfield? I was having a really good day today. I want to talk real quick. So let's talk about machine games. God bless this Rainbow Six Siege like multiplayer. Stop! Just stop with this stupid bullshit. We're gonna try a multiplayer game. No, you're bad at it. You tried this with Youngblood and it sucked. Just do Wolfenstein 3. That's all I want. Just give me Wolfenstein 3 and I'm in. I'm ready for it. But no, there's like, oh, we're gonna do this Rainbow Siege. I hope this is like Jez is like really bad at reporting, and that part isn't true because Kotaku corroborated specifically the Wolfenstein 3 thing. So I'm hoping that's the thing that's true, and Jez like is washed as hell and like completely made up that first thing.
Yeah, what like it obviously it's different, but it feels similar vibes to like when PlayStation was like, "Hey, all these studios, you're doing live service."
Yep.
And I wonder if like it's someone over at Microsoft's being like, "Hey guys, we need money and we need it fast, so you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do this," and it's just like they're not gonna work. Like why are the people who like why was Indiana Jones not mentioned at all? Like a really good high quality game that people love and selling really well, and they're just like never gonna go back to it or what?
Probably after Wolfenstein 3, they cycle back to Indiana Jones, but it's also like, why are we like cycling back and forth? You know, why is it like, oh, we're also working on it at the same time? It's just AAA game development, man. It's rough. Hey, you know what? I don't care about Indiana Jones because I want Wolfenstein 3. Give me Wolfenstein 3, then I'll care about Indiana Jones. Also, shout out to Age of Empires. God bless you. But yeah, that's everything in the Xbox world for now. We'll talk more about Xbox predictions next week. I guess they just really wanted to get in on the PlayStation show, apparently. This is fucked up. But let's talk about this. Fusion, I know this is a big thing for you. Okami,
So
a Polish analyst who originally reported on the Witcher 3 DLC expansion, has doubled down on his statement. I'm 100% certain CDPR will release significant new content this year, something significantly larger than just another update. And this was also put on to the idea of it being, apparently, I think it was Dune style, was kind of the rumor being corroborated. And CD Projekt apparently in their fiscal report expecting a big like surge of money that would only really come from like a new thing, most likely this Witcher 3 DLC expansion, whatever. I think this is really cool. I love when like an older game is still able to get DLC. They did this with Kingdoms of Amalur when they re-released that. I think it's a really awesome idea of like, hey, we're bringing back this thing and we're going to also put DLC alongside it with it, or we're going to do a new DLC expansion for a game that came out 10 years ago. It'd be really cool if Oblivion Remastered did that. They got to fix that game first, though. So I'm happy for you, Fusion. I know this is something you're excited about.
before Fusion goes off, this news like specifically made me buy The Witcher 3 on PlayStation. It was on sale, and I knew this was coming, and I just because good thing with CDPR games, their saves transfer. So originally I had this on Xbox, don't have an Xbox anymore, so I'm excited to play this whenever it comes out. And also, I have a question for Fusion. Do you think this entire DLC is us playing as Siri?
Um, that's a hard one because I would hope so because I'm not going to spoil the ending of Blood and Wine, but like Geralt has a very cementing, fulfilling ending to his character arc. So if they end that 10 years ago, you know what I mean? With this is 10 years since that Blood and Wine, 9 years. Well, I guess no, it will be 10 years this year. If they end his arc so well and they come back and it's not as good, I think that's going to leave a lot of people salty. And it's also just a thing of we're not playing, as far as we know, at all as Geralt in this next game. So like, why have him be like, "Hey, this is your last ride with him"? I don't know. I think they will make us play as all as Ciri. I think that's partially why it is taking as long as it is for this DLC. Is I'm sure with a game you have Ciri parts in The Witcher 3, but that game's not designed for you to play as Ciri as the main character in combat. So it's like to go from Geralt, who is a totally different combat person, compared to Ciri, it's like I'm sure that took them some extra time to bring it to this game. So I would hope, and I'm going to assume, I'm like 80% sure, yes, this will be like a Siri only you play a Siri DLC.
That'd be
Probably
high.
bridge the gap between
Yeah,
3 and
like it
4.
has to be what we've known for the last year and a half about this is it's supposed to be a bridge DLC. The thing I get a little confused about, I thought this was going to be like an up north part because the next Witcher game takes place in the far north. So the fact that it's going to be like it sounds like this desert area out in the south or whatever, it's like that completely threw me for a loop because I wasn't expecting that at all. I was thinking like Alaskan type environment, maybe snow, like that type of stuff, since they're going up north on the continent. So the fact that they are going to this desert thing throws a little bit of a loop in there where I'm like, well, maybe it does have to do more with Geralt, and like Syria is obviously a big part, and we're still bridging the two games, but it's like maybe I don't know. It's just weird that it's like they're going to this whole new area. Either way, I'm excited if this is true that is a real whole new area. Like we're getting a whole new level, like Blood and Wine delivered, because that's awesome. And if this is like a $30 DLC, $20 DLC, whatever it is, it's just like you don't get this very often, if like ever, for this type of game. So the fact that they are almost confirmed doing this, it's just super cool. I'll be there, kind of like Bench. I own this game on both consoles, but I bought it on my PC on Steam for like $10 with both the DLCs when this news dropped because of that cross save and cross progression thing. I could take my PS5 save and just play it on Steam, and now I'm playing. I'm just gonna pick up my save on there, and I'm gonna play it on my PC.
I will say we know that along with this DLC is kind of when they're starting up the Witcher 4 preparations and marketing. I assume we probably get some sort of Witcher Direct or something of like how they did like the CD PR Red with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I mean that's not too surprising. They probably just
But
do like a random, like, hey, we're talking about the future of The Witcher.
but I will say I'm curious, when do we think Witcher 4 is? First half next year? Is that possible?
Nah, it's like probably late next year, I think, in my eyes.
I said May 2027, but not sure. I could 100% see fall next year. I've been because
Save that for third-party predictions, buddy.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
If you're
but
even on there.
Witcher 3 was May in 2015, obviously. So like I've always just thought May 2027 would make sense, and it's like for them to bridge, obviously this DLC, because I think this DLC is also this May. That's also like in the rumors or whatever. The reports is like it will be this May. So like if it's this May, and then a year from now we're playing the next Witcher, that makes sense. Compared to if it's this May,
Mhm.
and then next fall we're playing the Witcher, still obviously makes sense. But that's an 18-month gap of a DLC and a new game compared to maybe 12 months.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we get to it soon. Be cool to get more Witcher 3 content, especially right before 4. Move into our next story. This is a bit of a sad one. Camouflage also suffered heavy layoffs by Meta. In development game projects canceled. Studio remains open, but studio heads let go with only a handful of employees left working on the quote new user experience for the upcoming hardware. Sanzaro was working on a Batman Arkham Shadow sequel as well. And this comes from reports a couple days ago that Warrior 64 also put out. Meta shuts down Armature Studio, Sanzaru Games, and Twisted Pixel. Rough story all around. You hate to see more developers get shut down. Specifically, these ones though, these were all VR developers. Twisted Pixel just released Deadpool VR. Sanzaru did Asgard's Wrath 1 and 2, which Asgard's Wrath 2 won me the Fantasy Critic on Game Mess, what's it called, Jeff Grubb's Game Mess one year. So shout outs to that. And Sanzaro, a very talented developer, because they also did Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, and I really, really like that game. And they did the Sly collection on PS3. They're very good at what they do. So to see them get shut down completely is insane to me, especially considering just how well Asgard's Wrath 2 reviewed. Meta seems to be weirdly taken away from VR now, probably more closing in on the AI bubble. And it just kind of shows me it's like, well, damn, PlayStation and Meta were probably the two companies the most aggressive about VR, and now they're both taking such major steps away. It kind of tells me VR is done for, or at least it's going to be a much smaller uh, piece of the pie for these companies than what we were probably expecting like a few years back, which I mean, listen, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm a VR fanboy. I love VR, but I also it's like I like new gaming experiences and I like to see the future of games evolve in different ways. So to see this whole section just completely shut out is unfortunate, and I hope the companies and the people under them are able to like hopefully like get away unscathed. They can find new jobs because very talented people worked at these studios.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised no one has like almost kind of like Tango GameWorks situation where no one like no other company has stepped in and be like, hey, we'll just actually buy them, or like we're not gonna let them die,
Yeah,
we'll just take them. And this is still could happen. Obviously, Tango was dead for like I don't know how long before.
like 2 months.
Yeah, before whoever was it, Embracer.
No, it was Krafton.
Oh yeah, before Krafton was like,
Scary.
we'll take them. So it's like it could still 100 happen, and hopefully it does because that's the best scenario here. Is like, okay, yeah, Meta doesn't want them, but someone else who even if it, I don't think they can work on a VR game anymore. But even if like you named prominent PlayStation stuff, so like I wouldn't even be
Yeah.
surprised. I mean, I would be surprised if PlayStation doesn't do that. But like if PlayStation was like, hey, we'll take you guys and you guys work on some of our stuff, or like if someone like that would just give these talented people an actual team still to work on stuff. That's maybe not VR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are very talented devs, and yeah, even if they are like very much in a VR mode, it's like they could do VR stuff for other companies and make a nice tidy profit. And clearly, Meta doesn't want just a nice tidy profit; they want the biggest possible profit humanly possible. So I don't know. I guess they just don't fit in with that mold. Which, hey, whatever. More power to them, I guess. Just sucks. I hate seeing studios, legacy studios especially, get shut down in an industry where it feels like there's fewer and fewer big prominent game developer names than ever before. Next one here. It's a bit more of a shout out, if anything. Stealth 40K puts this. Data miners uncovered that Nintendo is now specifically mentioned in the Call of Duty launcher code. Call of Duty hasn't seen a Nintendo platform in over 10 years, but it looks like this is about to change. Basically, we're most likely going to see from that Activision Blizzard court case that Call of Duty will come to a Nintendo device. Maybe we'll talk about this on Nintendo or Xbox predictions, but I do believe this is probably just going to be Warzone, kind of like a pared down version of that. Because, God, correct me if I'm wrong, Warzone's on mobile, right?
Um,
I think
this
Call of Duty Mobile was a separate
Call of
thing
Duty
that I
Mobile
think
is
is being
it's separate.
sunset.
It's not.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
like Warzone on mobile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, either then it's like I feel like a Call of Duty game can definitely run, especially on like a Switch
Oh,
2,
for
pretty
sure.
reliably.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I
I
would
mean, it
take
was on
Warzone
PS4.
too. I don't think. I would be surprised if it's a full on like, hey, the next Modern Warfare game's on Switch 2.
Yeah.
But I could 100%
Yeah.
be like, hey, Warzone's on Switch 2.
Yeah, maybe it gets released like a few months later, but definitely not like day and date, I don't
I just
think.
don't understand. Like, I understand why it's like Call of Duty on Switch. Yeah, there's a huge player base over there, but like, wasn't that whole thing just Microsoft being like, hey, this is our way of showing we're not going to be a monopoly. We're going to put Call of Duty on the Switch. Like,
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was
yeah,
the whole
because
reason they did it.
Microsoft, there's no way Microsoft's confidently being like, yeah, we want to do this. Like, they just at this point probably have to because they said so in court.
Yeah, true, but it's also like I feel like it's like such a large player base that hey, we might as well see what we can capture. Like we did say this in court, so like that's the major reason. But it's also like we could probably like get a good amount of people on the Switch platform to make it a worthwhile investment because Call of Duty is such a big brand IP.
Yeah, for sure. It's just got to be so hard for those devs. Honestly, it's like those
Yeah.
devs that already have to make it for all these other platforms, and they're on a time crunch over at Call of Duty, and they're like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
we also need you to make this on a Switch too. Like, get it done." And it's like,
Well,
huh? Like,
You have to
it
imagine it's
only
just
works.
Warzone.
Maybe
Yeah.
That's what you're
campaigns. You
gonna
never know. Well, it only works because people like Fusion buy Call of Duty every year. So
I don't like. I had Game Pass this year. I didn't buy Call of Duty.
about half the price of a Call of Duty. So
My Game Pass is $17.
I don't
All right.
believe
Well, okay. We're fighting about something that doesn't matter. So let's move into the next story. This is just a shout out. It Takes Two has sold 27 million copies via Joseph Ferris. Just Shinobi put that out. I just wanted to put that out because holy shit, 27 million is insane. Especially considering this game has a friend pass. So there's probably like 50 million plus players of this game, which just says a
Yeah.
lot about how damn popular it is. I wonder if Split Fiction ever reaches like a number close to that because I feel like the sales were like really really big and then they kind of just stopped updating, and I wonder if that's a case of you kind of know these sales are good, so we're gonna stop updating, or if it's okay, it kind of slowed down a good amount.
Well, I think the thing with Split Fiction, it's like the sad depression divorce story. So I think that helps sales.
You mean It Takes Two?
I mean, It Takes Two, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, it's on more platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think Split Fiction will pass 20 million at some point. I don't know if it ever surpasses as much as It Takes Two was, because I think It Takes Two.
Mhm.
I'm not like. It Takes Two has like a more cutesy style to it, where I feel like for couples specifically, even though I think Split Fiction's a better game, I think like It Takes Two kind of came out in a spot where it's just like these couples or these people, these friends have never played a co-op experience like that before. Where it's like Split Fiction is that game again. I think it's a way better game, but it's just like I wonder how many people who played It Takes Two rebought Split Fiction.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if it's a case of just like where they transitioned from like It Takes Two, they love that, and then they move into Split Fiction.
Yeah.
It's also good to know is like It Takes Two got this number over like a good amount, like about 5 years. It has gone on sale quite a bit, and I don't think Split Fiction's gone on sale to the same
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah.
So I wonder if
And It
that
Takes
also
Two
kind of adds to
won
it.
Game of the Year. Like
Yeah,
It Takes
that's
Two
a good
one Game of the
point.
Year. You're getting both. Like every dev team out there, everyone always says like winning Game of the Year helps a lot. Like they probably got a couple. I wouldn't be surprised if even just they got 1 million more sales from being a Game of the Year winner. So it's like
For
Split
sure.
Fiction wasn't even nominated. It wasn't even up there.
Yeah,
So it's like that could affect sales a little bit. I don't think massively, but a couple mil here or there.
agreed. Well, boys, enough of that. Let's start talking about what we've been. Wait, not what we've been playing. It's the topic of the show. The PlayStation predictions. Sorry, I'm like turned around today. Boys, it's been a year. We got to talk about last year's predictions first and
Oh, no.
foremost. I'll ask you, how do y'all think you did?
Bad.
I don't remember a lot of my predictions, so I'm gonna say that's bad if I can't remember. I can't remember them. I also don't trust Jack entirely with writing my prediction down. I'll be honest, but
That's
that
crazy.
is what it is.
That's crazy. Jack is probably the only one I trust to write down our predictions. I don't think he likes any of us more than the other. I'll say that. I think he
I
doesn't like all of us equally.
I think
He is-
I almost, and this is nothing against Jack. I think it was just like our episode last year wasn't like, it won't be like this year where we're specifically doing our predictions, and I feel like a certain
Yeah.
way. Where I feel like last year we spent a lot of the episode, a lot of the PlayStation talk, just throwing predictions out there on the wall. So like, I doubt
Mhm.
Jack was able to catch every single one, or like, you know what I mean? Where it's like this one should be more of a specific, hey, this is prediction A, B, or C. Where I feel like last year was just like we're throwing things at the wall.
Yeah, I feel that. Let's talk about what we got. So first and foremost, Bench stated that in the February State of Play, Ghost would be dated for summer. That didn't happen.
October is kind of summer.
No, it ain't.
No,
Not
it
even
isn't.
close. I tell you.
That was a big debate, actually. Me and Bench were of the mind that Ghost came out before Death Stranding 2, and Fusion, you were kind of like, no, actually, I think it's the other way around.
I
So
don't know how you
I'll
can
give you the
still
benefit.
believe that. Like, I genuinely were dumbfounded.
I don't know, man, because it happened last time. I don't know. You should be talking like this, Fusion. I got some predictions from you, okay?
No, how you're
Um,
saying that is just like Death Stranding 2 had been announced for so long, and like we just got a 10-minute trailer and like everything, and then we saw one Ghost trailer up to
No.
that point.
Oh, no.
One.
At that point, in January, we did not get a 10-minute Death Stranding 2 trailer, I don't think.
I thought that I thought Death Stranding 2 trailer, the 10-minute one was 2024.
No, that was... No, you're talking about the one that was like early in the year in like March. That was like 10 minutes long. It had the pre-orders and everything. Are you talking about
No,
that trailer?
I'm talking about the one that was like 7 minutes and like was
Oh,
introducing
you're
characters we've
talking
never
about that
met
state of
before.
play.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
state of play. That's what I'm talking about. And it's like we've seen so
Okay,
much of
that's a
Death
good
Stranding
point.
2 up to that point of when we made those predictions where I'm like, dude, there's no way. We've seen Ghost a singular time. So, like that's why I was dumbfounded. But yeah.
No, no, you were right. You were right. Fair enough. Bench and me both said that RE9 would be revealed at the state of play, like the February state of play. We got it right that it was revealed this year, so that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
right. But
We were
also,
just early.
Bench mogged me because I said it would come out the year of in 2025, and he said 2026. So yeah, he gets a point there.
Nice. Okay.
And also Bench said Days Gone Remastered would be announced at the state of play, which just nailed it head on.
Yep.
Vance and Oracle, I gotta say.
I forgot
And
that
then-
game happened.
And then Fusion, you said the Stellar Blade PC port. You didn't say specifically at the state of play, so you were right about that. Shout outs. But you also said the Horizon multiplayer would be announced.
Nice.
We got a Horizon multiplayer announced, but I don't
That
think
is
it's the
true.
one you were thinking
It
of.
was not the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. In March, Bench, you thought Days Gone Remastered would come out this month, which you missed it by 1 month. That was close.
Yeah.
This one I need like confirmation here. I just said The Last of Us 2 on PC will run well.
It runs well,
Which
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did, right?
Yeah, runs great.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then Bench didn't say, or no, you didn't say anything, Fusion. You were lazy, I guess. And then May, we were saying that was when the next state of play would be. Bench would say there would be a Ghost of Yotei state of play, missed it by a couple months, but
Just
would be
early.
announced. God bless. And I also said a new 2D Castlevania would be announced. God bless, man. I suck at this.
Wow, we had some copium that month.
Yeah. I will say we kind of got that with the Bloodstained game. That's kind of close, but I'm not giving myself points for that. And then Fusion, you know what? You said Little Devil Inside would get a trailer. Still waiting.
It might not ever come.
Yeah. June, Fusion, you said the PlayStation presence would be at SGF. You guessed a Death Stranding 2 release date, which that was the month Death Stranding 2 came out. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Was there PlayStation presence last SGF?
I don't think so. At least I do not remember one.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, because I guess that was like the really bad SGF where the only real big thing was
2 years in a
RE9.
row.
Yeah, shocker.
Yeah,
and then
I don't see anything.
Yeah, and then in the summer, Bench said Ghost of Yotei would release in July. God bless. I said that the Demon Souls PC port would release in August. Missed completely. Very possible that just doesn't happen.
I was saying, I don't think it exists.
Which is insane to me, by the way. I hate Sony. You're gonna re-release everything else on PC except the game that would probably do the most, a FromSoft game. Where there's a big FromSoft audience on PC. That's the one you don't release. Worst video game company ever, man. And then I also said Sony shuts down Media Molecule. Very glad I didn't get that one right. They're still around. We'll see how long, though. And then Fusion, you said Death Stranding 2 releases some point in the summer. So, hey, points for that. You got that. And then two big misses here. You said Sony buys Shift Up, which didn't happen. But you also said Sony buys From Software.
I do remember saying that. Remember saying that. Which
They
at the
did.
time,
They did.
No, they did in
No,
a way,
they
but
didn't.
But
They
not
were-
in
Yes,
like a
they
way.
did.
I was saying 100% they overtake them, and they did not.
But they own. Do they own them?
They don't own
They own a
Katakawa.
stake in the company.
They're in a partnership.
Isn't it
It's
a
not
controlling
ownership.
stake?
No, it's not controlling.
No, I
They are
doubt
partners. It's a partnership.
Close
Bench.
enough.
They have the
That's
same
not
amount of
it.
stock percentage. I think as like 10 cent, maybe more, but it's like
Yeah, I
that
think
level
so.
of like. No, but it was like, the weeks prior to that prediction, we were like, there was a lot of articles out there that it's like Sony wants to buy them. Like for sure, they're like in on buying them, and I was like, well, there's not like when there's smokes, there's fire, and I thought throughout the entire year at some point it would have happened. It never did. It is what it is.
I think you were thinking like because they were in a agreement with Katakawa and it was a pretty aggressive agreement, but like I was like arguing pretty heavily. It's like I think this is mostly for the anime stuff, not the video game stuff. And you were like, no, I think From Software is a big piece of that, and maybe eventually it does. These are long, like kind of conversations. It could, but also it's like, hey, FromSoft is releasing a game exclusively on Switch too, which tells me it's like I think FromSoft just doesn't like Sony. I don't think they like working with Sony.
To me, I think it's just FromSoft goes where the money is, in my opinion. There's no
Nah,
other, like,
I don't.
I think
Because
it's
why
either they
wouldn't
know
Sony buy them
Nintendo's.
again?
I don't think PlayStation honestly cares that much about them. Like, honestly,
Who
which
cares?
is,
Yeah, they don't care about the guys who sold a 30 million selling game.
but
Yeah.
30 million because it was on every platform. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Where it's like,
It would be
so
on
that's,
PC if they buy them, though.
would it though?
I think it would.
Maybe a year later. You know what I mean? It's not like,
Uh,
that's my thing with PlayStation, where it's like, to me, I don't know. To me, it's like, obviously From Software would be great for PlayStation, but I think it's like, I don't think PlayStation wants to do exclusive deals with FromSoft. They would rather just own them. Where I think FromSoft is like, well, we don't want to get owned, so there's no exclusive deal coming from PlayStation. Blah blah blah. Nintendo threw us a crap ton of money, and it's a
Yeah,
Nintendo
probably.
Switch thing where a bunch of, so they. I think that's what FromSoft does. Like, nothing against FromSoft to say they go where the money is. That's what every company
No,
goes
no,
where the money is.
I don't. I'm not
Yeah.
debating that. I'm just saying I don't think they like each other. Like genuinely, I just think there was
Oh,
a
well, then,
big
yeah, maybe.
disagreement because, like, think about it this way, Fusion, Sekiro, Elden Ring, all other FromSoft games, none of them were advertised at State of Plays or PlayStation presentations. Like ever since Bloodborne, I think there was like a really rough handling of the Bloodborne IP in a way that FromSoft and Sony both came out of it just not wanting to work with each other again. Because, and I think that's a lot of the reason why we don't have Bloodborne at 60 FPS still.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
will
you
see.
would know better than me. I don't know. So.
I don't know. I hope that they fix that. I hope they stop being whitey about it, both of them. I'm like, come on, guys, let's just give me Bloodborne at 60 FPS. Moving on. September. This was when we thought the State of Play, which we got that at least. Bench said this is when RE9 would be announced for 2026. Happened a few months earlier, but you got it. Intergalactic trailer, dated for fall 2026. Sony buys Ember Lab and announces their new game. Didn't happen. Also, I want to point out, Bench said this would be a PlayStation showcase. So, I don't know, guys. Did you see a PlayStation showcase that month?
It's happening.
It don't exist anymore.
Bench also said Death Stranding 2 would be dated for November. That's a miss. And then he did get first gameplay trailer for Wolverine. That was in September, so he nailed that. And then first in-engine footage of KOTOR remake. Nope.
Well,
I mean, sequel happened.
Not in September.
KOTOR sequel. That's true. I said Yote releases, which I missed it by like 2 days. I think I get like half credit for that. I think.
No,
right?
you still missed it.
Ah, 2 days, but okay. And I also said a Housemarque teaser, which that happened way earlier in the year. But hey, I mean, Housemarque did reveal their game last year.
Did.
And then Fusion, you were also on the PlayStation Showcase Hopium.
I know.
So.
I think Biggs talked me into it on the podcast.
You said an Intergalactic trailer, miss. You said a Wolverine trailer, hit. And then you said Pragmata shows up. Happened a few months before, but you still hit that. That was a good prediction there. And then in the holiday, Bench said DS2 releases in November. Missed that. Fusion said Yote releases in November. Also missed by a month. We both missed it by a month. And then Corey Game revealed at TGA, which, yep. And then any point in the year, we don't see. Oh, I said this. We don't see Wolverine or Intergalactic all year. I get half a point. Okay, I was right about Intergalactic. I said no showcase. I get a point there. Star Wars Eclipse is canceled. Still somehow exists. Marathon releases in 2025. Missed that completely. And then I said Sony has a weaker year than Xbox or Nintendo.
It's not weaker than Xbox.
Yeah,
well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, game releases maybe, but every other element, no.
I mean, maybe.
Xbox took a lot of negative PR last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is we're debating.
Didn't sell anything. So, like,
what games did Xbox release last year? I need to actually remind myself. Because it was Oblivion remake, Avowed.
They did amazing from a software side.
Yeah, all right, maybe. At least from a pure games releases, but like, yeah, fine.
Their console also costs
$1
zillion now.
I'm just saying, I didn't know we'd come out of this Fusion, a big Xbox fan, by the way.
No, I would agree. I'm saying I disagree with your take because you said they would be worse than Xbox. I'm saying they were better than Xbox this year.
I agree.
From a success standpoint.
Oh, you said Sony was better than Xbox.
Yes. I'm saying from a pure game perspective, Xbox has them beat really, but it's like all of like the Xboxes just were not selling at all. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't.
Yeah.
PlayStation made the most money it's ever made or something last year, some stat like that, where it's just like Xbox didn't have that, as far as I know.
And then Bench said no fair game shown in 2025. Nailed that. So shout outs. Bench, I didn't count these. I'll count these later. I think Bench probably got the most though. Bench was kind of cooking with some of these.
He was safe.
Mm-hmm.
Safe ball, dude. He was playing safe ball.
About to shoot again and hopefully make all my
Bro,
shots.
Bro just shoots 3-pointers. He don't even ever go for a dunk, man.
Safe.
Also, last thing here. What score does each member think? I didn't say anything. I don't know why. But Fusion, you said PlayStation would have an 8 out of 10 year, and Bench said 9 out of 10 year. I
would
thought
give
it
him
was
an
a
8.
solid year. Yeah, probably. I think 7.5.
I was really about to say, I
solid.
would say like a 7.5, right between good and great.
Yeah,
I think
like,
they needed one more game. They needed one more game to come out.
They needed like a cool little game that's like, oh wow, Sony's doing cool shit still. Like, their 2 tentpole releases worked out well, but it's like announcement wise, I feel like we're missing.
Littered first half.
That was like free DLC though. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention that prediction. I said that. Did I say that earlier? Oh yeah, I said paid DLC for Astrobot, which missed. But there was DLC though.
I think I'll give Sony that extra half point to an 8 because I think they did litter. They kind of avoided a lot of bad PR from like they didn't raise prices.
That's a good point.
I would say they were very
took
much
a hit.
Yeah.
They probably had the least bad PR out of the big.
Yeah, they were so quiet. Their 2025 was quiet. Is how I would explain Sony's 2025. It's just like they just weren't. There wasn't much bad PR other than the very start of the year with like the 2 cancellations. But it's like they just put out the games they put out, made some state of plays that were kind of like that were fine to good, and they were just there. And like their consoles sold incredibly well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hope this year they shoot for the moon, and we're gonna see that way with our predictions. I think we start with Bench. We all have a good amount of predictions, but I think we each do 5 that we set in stone. And we look back on it next year and make fun of ourselves. So I want to start with Bench. Bench, what do you got for me?
Give me the first time, right?
I mean,
one at a time. Yeah. Bench, we'll go Fusion, then me.
Through financial documents, it is revealed that the PS5 will have an extended life cycle. I guess through the original life cycle, you'd think we'd get a new console at the end of next year. I think we're looking at late 2028 to even 2029 for the PS6. I don't think we get those dates itself, but I think the words like extended life cycle are used in a financial report that the PS life cycle is here to stay. Maybe they say it's because of the prices of like RAM and all that, but I think as of right now, we're with the PS5 for a little while longer.
Yes, you said 2028 or to 2029 for.
I could see 29. I think if it's 29, I could see them maybe phase out the base PS5 and kind of go a little more into Pro to kind of like raise the price, but also raise the power in a way that kind of, I guess if that makes sense. If it's 2029, I think if it's 2029, I think they do that. If it's 2028, I think they keep things as is.
I think that's a crazy prediction. I think it's that idea of like RAM prices are so out of control. Maybe they do kind of sit on it for a bit. My only thing is like when it comes to like, I was learning about this with like the RAM prices and whatever. They order the components for these consoles very much ahead of, like far ahead of release and whatnot, to the point where it's like I wonder if they kind of avoid that. Or like they're just kind of stay steady within the storm and just say, you know what, fuck it, it's gonna release. We already set these prices. We already set up these like contracts and whatnot.
Well, I think component pricing was only a part of it. I think another part of it is they're happy where PS5 is and think they can just write it out right now. On top of maybe trying to perfect PSSR for the next generation, I think maybe let things cook a little more. I think all those together make them think, hey, we don't need to rush out a PS6 right now. Because Xbox is kind of bailing on that competition. They're in no rush to compete. So I don't think we get a PS6. I think that's kind of delayed.
Fusion, do you buy that?
Yeah, I think I do. I lean more towards we're going to have I lean more towards PlayStation does not have a new gen console next year than it does. Like I think we're at least in 2028 territory.
I hope so. I'm happy with my PS5.
Part of it's definitely wishful thinking.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to think about PS6. Like I've barely gotten that much power out of the PS5. Like I feel like I'm mostly just playing upscaled PS4 games at this point, where I'm like, I want to play like real like PS5 exclusives. At
Yeah,
the soon.
got to play Rebirth. But part of it is
Yeah, Rebirth, the
being
game that
happy
everyone was
where
saying doesn't run well.
I mean, it runs well on the Pro. Runs
I'm not
flawlessly,
buying
some
it, bro.
would
Come
say.
on, man.
But I think part of it is wishful thinking of being happy where the PS5 is, being able to ride that well. And I think if it is 2029, I think they go deeper in on Pro, especially with that rumored update into the part where they phase out the Slim. Because it also, like I said, you can raise the price of base hardware while also saying, hey, you're getting more power here with new technology. But it could still be 2028 and things just kind of ride it out as it is. But I do think Sony comes out and says, hey, you're going to have to wait longer for PS6. And I don't think anyone's going to be upset about that.
Yeah, no, I think most people will be like, okay, that makes sense. That's fair. I have seen some people where it's like, I'm ready for PS6. It's like, how? What are you ready for?
Yeah, I'm not
But
really
either
ready
way,
for them, but I would buy day one. I'd be
yeah,
there
I
day
mean,
one.
yeah, we're freaks. We know.
Yeah.
Fusion, what's your first prediction?
I'm gonna play a little safe on my first one because I feel like Binches was pretty safe. Like nothing against the safe pick, but I just felt like it's safe.
Yeah,
So
same
I'll go
for
with
first. We go crazy.
probably the safest one I have is I think we go an entire year with complete silence from Bluepoint and Bend again. Like we haven't heard from them in years. I think we go an entire calendar year with neither of them showing up another time, like the entire year.
So
I agree.
that's I agree, but almost to like kind of step above that, I think Ben gets shut down. I genuinely think at this point, with not just Days Gone 2 kind of like not existing anymore and the multiplayer game getting canceled, I think Sony looks at Ben and it's like, we don't really see use for you. I hope they don't. I hope I'm wrong. And I'm not really making that my official first prediction, but I think in the case of like what you say about like Bluepoint and Ben not showing up this year, I think Ben doesn't show up this year because they just go away, which really sucks. If I hope that's not the case.
I think you
Yeah,
could
that
see
would really suck.
creatives leave. I think you could see creatives leave Bend, but I think as it would stay as a support studio because you always need those.
Fair. That's a good point. But that's a good prediction though, Fusion. I like the safety ones because we're gonna get crazy.
Yeah, I have a few on here that I'm like, actually, most of mine are kind of like they could happen, but low chance.
Yeah. I'm gonna go probably also pretty safe prediction here if I can find it. The 2D God of War game is finally revealed. It's a 2.5D Metroidvania, not developed primarily by Sony Santa Monica, at most like a support role. Releases this year, and I don't have a date put here, but I was assuming probably like around the summer or so. I think we've been hearing rumblings about this game for a while. Jeff Grubb recently said on Game Mess Decides that he has heard that this game was actually really supposed to release this year. That was kind of the more wishful. Last year was almost like wishful thinking. This year is much more like the more set in stone date, which I think it's about time to see this game. And I think it's gonna. I think it'll look good. I think I'll complain about it being 2.5D, but I'll get over it.
This is one of my predictions, so I'll kind of like bounce off with what I also had. I think it's announced and released within 4 months. I think time window is early summer, either late May, early June. I think they want to have like you have Soros, you have God of War, and then you have Wolverine to like the three-pronged release of the year. But also I think it is a lot smaller scale of a game than we're expecting. I don't think it's I think it's going to be a high quality, but I think in terms of scale, I think you're expecting a 5 or 6 hour experience that I think leaves some people wanting more.
Yeah, I could see that. It's just like a much shorter game than expected. It's almost like a nice appetizer for whatever Sony Santa Monica makes next. Um, did you put developer? Because I was of the mind of like this is not Sony Santa Monica proper working on
No, I
this.
think I think it's external.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Fusion? You think that's unbelievable?
Yeah, I would be right there with you guys. I didn't put it on my list, but I'm right there where I think it is. This screams to me like, hey, I think if it does exist and it's real, I think it would be at like next year's state of play, like February, and I think it's first half. Like the further if we go through the February state of play without seeing it at all, I now 20% believe it still exists. like that type of where it's just like
Yeah.
I'm tired of these leakers and these people being like, this game could have came out last year, and it was like we went through 3 state of plays in a row where apparently it was supposed to be there, and then they were like, "Ah, just kidding, it's early next year." So like, if we go through the February state of play next month and it's not there, I'm officially like more in belief that this game does just not exist and these leakers have bad information at this point. But assuming it does show up at the February state of play, I think it is that quick turnaround of hey, we're out in 2 to 3 months. Like, expect this before Summer Game Fest.
I agree with that for sure.
Yep.
Bench, you want to go by your second one?
Yeah, a two-pronged thing. I think we don't hear from Fair Games or Intergalactic this year. At the same time, I think both have individual Jason Schreier articles. One being either Fair Games is canceled or retooled into something, and we shouldn't expect to hear from it for several years. I think Intergalactic is a 2028 game.
Okay.
Kind of leaning with, I think they originally want this to be kind of the last hurrah of PS5. It needed more time, and with PS5, in my predictions, getting pushed to later, they say, "Oh, we can hold off on this." Because I also have in mind another big game for 2027, which I'll talk about later.
I'll ask you this, Bench. Why do you think they would retool Fair Games when it loses most of its founders of the studio, most of its directors? It lost
I
Jade Raymond.
lean towards canceled, but the fact that it hasn't been canceled yet makes me think they see something there. That could be wrong. They could be waiting for the holidays to be over for all we know.
Fair. It is weird that it hasn't been canceled yet. I'm with you there.
But I don't
I'm
think
of the mind
it
gets canceled. I'm of the mind it gets canceled this year. Like
I lean that way,
piggybacking off of it. But I could see what you're talking about. Of like, they've clearly see something in this game that I feel like over the course of the years where have been like, this looks like ass. This is never going to come out. This is not doing well. But hey, they removed the dollar sign, so hey, maybe they see something now.
The best part of it.
Yeah,
well, I don't want to make this my official thing.
Yeah. It wasn't my prediction anyway. You can talk about it
because I did have one where I think Fair Games. I'm gonna bounce off a little bit and say Fair Games does get a proper reveal this year, and I kind of agree with Binks the article about it being retooling. I think they switch from. I think we see this game this year, and it's not PvP anymore; it's PvE. I think they try to jump on the Helldivers, the for loop or whatever that game's called. I think they understand, hey, Concord and PvP didn't work. Helldivers work so well. We're going to get away from this heist PvP game, and this would be like a heist PvE game. Like, we want these people to work together against whatever is out there. And I think that's the pivot and why it's taking so long. And that's why it hasn't been canceled, because I think they truly believe them pivoting from a closer to a Helldivers game will work out.
And it could. What do you think about my Intergalactic prediction?
I'm curious about that. That's an interesting one, Bench, because I feel like on the one hand, I could see it happening because it's like, yeah, Intergalactic is such a big game. They're working on it for a while. But also, I'm just of the mind of like, you've been working on it this long. You have to be ready by now.
I fully disagree.
I think I think Intergalactic itself is a lot bigger than even The Last of Us 2, which is a lengthy game. I think this was like a 30 to 40 hour RPG. Is kind of, I guess, I think it's a bigger game. I think it's a swing from Naughty Dog to trying something different. But I think that comes with it being pushed to 2028. I don't think it's like a full year delay. I think it's kind of that July window that Naughty Dog likes, maybe even a May. But I think it gets pushed, and I think it's all the better for it. But I have a 2027 prediction later that I think fills in that gap.
I could see it for sure. I definitely think it's one of those things. Games take so long nowadays. It wouldn't be too surprising if the next Naughty Dog game does take that long. I think a lot of our dismays, because I'm actually excited for that game. It looks cool.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying it's impossible because we know how AAA game development works, but like, to me, 2027 already will be 7 years for Naughty Dog, the longest they've taken for any game ever. And I understand this is their most ambitious, their biggest game, but no, I think it would be a very, like, it would let down a lot of people if we went another entire year. I think we see it this year. When you said we don't see it this year, I think we have to see it this year. If we don't see it this year, then obviously, yeah, I'm not believing it's next year at all. But like, Naughty Dog has to reel it in, especially with the news of what was a few weeks ago, a month ago at this point, where
Crunch.
They're getting a demo out there. You're not crunching and doing all this stuff right now for us to not see this game this year. Like, that doesn't add up to me a timeline wise.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Hopefully we see it soon. Fusion, what about you? What's your second prediction?
Okay, I'll do. I feel like I have to. Let me go. Sony acquires. This will be an acquired one, so it's never gonna be
There
right
we go.
because no one's gonna ever guess it. Sony acquires Giant Squid, which is the dev
Oh,
between behind Sword of the Sea, Abzu, and Pathless, which we know there was that whole like weird thing about probably 2 or 3 months ago at this point where there was like a trademark that somebody trademarked. I forget if it was the Sword of the Sea property or Giant Squid themselves, but there was something under the radar that happened a few months ago with Sony and Giant Squid, and we know their relationship is so strong. Sword of the Sea is an only PlayStation game. Same with the Pathless. We also know Giant Squid came out and they said, "Hey, we're really struggling financially. Like we're not doing well." This seems like it would be the perfect situation where it's like a random May or random March, whatever, PlayStation just comes out and says, "Hey, we've acquired Giant Squid." I feel like this would help. This wouldn't be a huge risk since it's a small studio who makes small games, where it can add to their foundation of, "Hey, you guys want non-traditional PlayStation games? Giant Squid does that for you. They give you games like a Journey or the Sword of the Sea or those type of games that no one else at PlayStation is doing." I think it would be like a match made in heaven where Giant Squid now gets the money to continue to create things they want to create, and Sony now gets a talented development team.
I I can definitely see that. I think that's one of those cases. My only thing though, Fusion, I don't think Sony's really that interested in owning studios that make small experiences. I think if they own a studio, it's like, okay, you're making the next big Sony first party massive game. And we'll work with you like with like third party deals to do these like smaller, like pathless, sort of the sea style games. And I just don't think they see much um I guess you could say like worthwhile. There's nothing really worthwhile to them owning them. But I think you put out a great point. It's like they're in financial trouble. That is the case of like if Sony really wants the studio to stay around, maybe this is like a kind of forced acquisition. Like we need to buy the studio, or they're just going to be shut down entirely.
Yeah, that's where it mainly comes from. Where I think if Giant Squid was doing great or whatever, PlayStation probably wouldn't. But I think, and it's probably just copium of seeing the good in people. I would hope like people over at PlayStation who obviously really love these games would be like, "Hey, if we don't buy them, they're out." I mean, they don't have jobs
Yeah.
anymore. This company's going down. So I could see where that's why I think if this to me of all our acquisitions we've put out in the last few years, this to me feels like the most pro for either side. Where it's like, yeah, Sony might not be getting the big budget guys, but they're still getting someone kind of cool like a Double Fine, and it's just Giant Squid can survive. So it's like for me, it's like
Mhm.
just work together and get it done. It could just be, hey, PlayStation's just giving them a bunch of money to make another third party exclusive game. Cool. But I think there is a world where they could be acquired. I don't think we go the whole year without Sony acquiring someone. And I had no idea who else to put. It could
Hmm.
be someone we have no idea. Like it could be a random studio we never even thought of, but like almost like the Ember Labs one last year, I actually feel more confident in Giant Squid than Ember Labs.
Fair enough. Very curious to see what they do next because I still didn't play Sword of the Sea. That looked really cool. Uh, I'm debating between a couple. I think I'll go with this. I don't think you guys have this one. So this is my second prediction. Sony announces a new studio in Japan. There's a studio that they're setting up themselves. It's going to be involved with a major Japanese video game developer. Haven't this part is like I'm less confident on, but I do think they're going to get a big guy. Right now, my thought process is Harada because he just left the Tekken team and like maybe he does want to work on like something brand new, and like Sony would give him that big blank check to do so. But the big thing is a big Japanese like they're going to make a new studio in Japan. I think they saw the success of Astrobot. They see the amount of talent in that region and they're like, okay, we should probably prioritize or like set up more studios within this region instead of acquiring. Let's set up a new studio and give this guy who's clearly very talented, someone like a Harada, the blank check to do like what he wants to make. This one's I'm not as confident. This is a lot of hopium, but I'm also like I do
This
think
would be
Sony.
insane.
Make a
I think
JRPG.
but that's the thing. I think they want to make more Japanese games. I think they realize how much of a foothold they've lost in Japan because of Nintendo, and I think they're like we should try to at least guarantee more of a spot in the console race in Japan instead of just letting it go away, especially with let's be honest, a lot of like console sales plateauing in other parts of the regions, other parts of the world, especially the United States. Maybe they're like we need to try to prioritize Japan in some way.
Something that I believe is missing that I wanted to predict, but just it didn't make sense with PlayStation is them coming out with an exclusive first party big budget JRPG, and they just have nobody to make that. And I think them having someone to make that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I think this is like a case of like I do think they want to make more games of that style. Now, Fusion, you're very like this is insane. You don't think
I
this
mean,
happens at all?
no, I think I'm not saying it's impossible. Like if you sat me down and you were like, "Hey, give me a
It's a
percent,"
swing.
yeah, I would say legit 30%, which is still possible, but like to it would be awesome though. Like I'd be totally on
Yeah.
board. Like I think this would be the coolest thing that would happen on PlayStation this year if this was true, especially if they get a big name to lead it, like a big name studio head. Like I think this would be
Mhm.
fantastic. I love, my favorite thing in the world is when PlayStation gets a new studio. Like I just love when PlayStation adds to that portfolio because
Yeah.
to me it's like, I granted it hasn't worked with like Fair Games and Haven yet or Concord, but like to me it's like if you add someone to the PlayStation family, you're very confident in what they're doing. You're confident in their skills. You're
Mhm.
confident in
Hmm.
the game they're gonna make. So like if they created a new studio from scratch, especially with their Japan roots, I think that would bring a lot of good faith back, especially when they cancel, when they let go, when they destroyed Japan studios. You know what I mean? So it's like for them to do this,
Mhm.
especially which maybe it doesn't matter at all, but a lot of a lot of the higher ups now at PlayStation are all Japanese. You know what I mean? Like we don't
Yeah.
have like Herman Holtz.
Machino.
Herman Holtz is the highest up, and he's not in that boardroom anymore. You know what I mean? He's even a step below there, where it's just like the CEOs, everyone over there are just like straight up from Japan. So I wonder if having that pivot over the last year, I wonder how much that affects these game decisions of saying, hey, we need some more stuff at our home turf. We need to make more Japan games. I think,
Yeah, especially with Astrobot. Like that
yeah,
was
and I
such
think
a
with the
big
success of Astrobot
development.
and Team Asobi of them being a Japanese studio, I think this could totally work. I think even if it's a thing of, I don't think Team Asobi's big enough, but if it's a thing of some of Team Asobi spins off under a new head, and it's like that's how they build the studio out of Japan. Like
Yep.
even something like that could be possible.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, we heard like from Nicholas Doucette himself, it was like, oh, if we ever got more employees, we would just work on two
Two
different games. We
projects, yeah.
wouldn't, yeah, it wouldn't be like a bigger scale game. So that would be a case of like, hey, we're actually going to separate a lot of this crew and have them be in this new studio working with someone like a Harada or Shinji Mikami or like a major Japanese game developer who's kind of on their own. A lot of these major Japanese game developers are already like kind of leaving these studios that they've known for like 20, 30 years and doing their own things. So I think Sony kind of wants a piece of that pie.
And their marketing beat would be so good because it'd be like this super popular studio head that's going to come back and quote unquote revive the Japanese for PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like revive
Yeah.
Japan for PlayStation. Like it would just be such
It's
a
Japan Studios too,
yeah.
basically.
I feel like it'd be just such a slam dunk for them, which is like why it feels too much copium to me, which is why I said like 30%. But like PlayStation, I mean, they just opened a new studio last year out of nowhere, so like it could
Yeah.
100% happen.
That's another thing I factored in is like they have been just randomly like acquiring or like starting up new studios here and there. So it tells me it's like okay, they're clearly interested in this kind of thing. I just feel like it's like we're missing something in Japan alongside a Team Asobi. Bench, let's get to your third prediction. We're going through these.
The Last of Us Season 3 gets delayed indefinitely. I think with Neil
That's a
Druckmann
TV
leaving,
prediction.
I still think it's big prediction. I think it's delayed indefinitely. We know Neil Druckmann left. A report will come out saying there were just communication issues. PlayStation wasn't happy with the direction of the series. Something that causes the two sides to reach ahead in that it's better if it's just shelved indefinitely.
Interesting.
I'll let Fusion go. This is definitely passionate from you.
No, I only disagree because like I just don't think we hear from it this year. It's not supposed to come out this year. So like why would they even talk about it?
I don't think it's. I think it's a report comes out that it has been shelved, and then they have to come out and say yes, this is true.
Because there was just
Release a statement.
gosh, I'm now forgetting her name, but the actress who plays Abby just posted that she's ramping up, like getting muscle and stuff for the role. So I'm not saying it adds up with the timeline right now, and I also just believe
Mhm.
I don't know why they would be talking about that show this year, anyways, when it's not coming out.
I think a report will come. This is like kind of a left field prediction, so it could not happen. But I
No,
think,
I like those. Yeah.
but yeah, I think that a report will come out from like Variety or something, and then they will release a statement. It wouldn't be like they release a statement saying it's on hiatus of their own will.
Shout out to Variety, man. They know
Be
what they're
happy.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder if they take in a lot of the feedback from season 2, or they're like, oh, well, we want a game award, so so you guys are wrong. Actually, I'm curious. I know Fusion, you were very, very against season 2's direction, and I know a lot of other people were, but it seemed to have still done pretty well. So I don't know why
Yeah, I
Sony
mean,
would be like, yeah,
they
you
were
know what,
nominated
actually,
for like Emmys and multiple things. So
yeah,
you know,
exactly. So clearly, someone liked it,
yeah.
not you. Fusion, let me hear your third one.
Almost similar to your studio one, the Japan studio one. I'm saying PlayStation announces a new hero project, which, if people who don't know, it's like the hero project in China, India, and they have one right now in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I think they'll announce a new one this year, and it's either in South Korea or South America, which I know South America is a lot, like it could be a lot of countries there, but I couldn't pinpoint a country where it's. So I think either they're doing a hero project out of South Korea or somewhere in South America.
I definitely could see that. I did you catch the news regarding one of the PlayStation China hero projects? There
Don't
was
think
a
so.
lot of scuttlebutt going on with one of the games. I don't remember what the game was, but they kind of put out this big expose on Sony, and it's like, hey, we tried like multiple times to reach out for them for like marketing materials. We were trying to like release new stuff, and they wouldn't come back to us. They wouldn't like talk to us or respond to our emails. It was that weird thing where it's like, that is a weird thing where it's like, I wonder how much PlayStation does value the hero projects. That started to bring in like a sea of doubt of like, was Lost Soul Side that bad that like they're starting to maybe pull away from the hero projects? I definitely like your prediction. I could definitely see them going like, you know what? No, we, for the majority of the hero projects, we still have a lot of faith in them. I just wonder if PlayStation's almost like, we're not getting enough returns off these games to make it worthwhile going to new regions this soon, when they just set up the Middle East one, I think, last year.
Yeah, they did. It was just last year, which is totally fair. And I didn't know that story for my prediction, but I still believe like I think it's 2 years in a row now that they've like the Indian one out of India was in 2023, and then
Yeah.
or maybe 2024. I think it was actually 2024, and then the Middle East, North Africa was last year. So it's like I think they maybe have one more. I know like we've been so I feel like South Korea specifically, we've been talking about so much on this podcast. I
Yeah.
feel like the
They've been
last two
really
years where it's
growing.
just like the talent there and the dev teams that are coming out of there are just incredible. That I feel like they could get away with it. Like they could go there and do something really cool. And then I was thinking of just South America as a whole. There's nothing down there for PlayStation at the moment. And it's just like you have so many countries. I think it could be a thing where they don't pick just one country like they have with China and India, where they do similar to like the one with the Middle East, which I think it's called the MENA something, or I think it's like MENA. It stands for Middle East
Yeah,
North Africa.
MENA, yeah, Middle East,
Yeah.
North Africa.
So if they could do something with that, where it's that type of acronym thing, where it's just like 4 or 5 countries down in South America, because we know there's plenty of, especially Brazil specifically, there's plenty of South American development teams. Where I think if Sony's going to focus on one, that could be an area.
Hmm. Yeah, I hope that's true. I honestly wrote down that I think the hero project's actually going to be downscaled. They're going to reveal a lot fewer games. They're going to advertise fewer games from it. But I think with everything you're kind of pointing out, I was like, no, maybe it is like a business as usual. We're still going to really go hard on these, and hopefully return the emails of that one game. Because damn, I'm reading that story. I
Yeah,
was like, damn, these guys, they are really getting screwed by Sony here.
yeah, I didn't know. And looking at it, they've actually put on a lot of games. We just don't know of them. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at like
Yeah,
specifically the China Hero Project. They've released like 15 games here since 2018 that are like have came out. They've only ever canceled one Hero Project since 2018. Like, and that's
yeah.
surprising me. I thought there would be more, but there's only been one.
That's my thing though, is that it's like we don't know about these. It feels like they just don't get advertised by Sony or really
And
anyone. Like they don't go to Akili, and it's like it's weird that Sony's just not prioritizing these, especially because these are games they are helping produce.
yeah, and I wonder. I think Sony knows they understand they're not putting out a big crazy game out of these hero projects. I think this is Sony's way of saying,
Fair.
hey, let's give these countries who might have hard times struggling in like game development and funds and money and whatever, and let's have people be able to be passionate about their work and create video games in these sections of the world. That's how I take the hero project. Like the fact that even some hero projects come up to the light of like a Lost Soul Aside and they get that big is really cool. But I think 95% of these hero project games will never play a day in their lives. But I think it is awesome for those people to get experience and making a video game in that part of the world.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it's cool that these games are being allowed to be made, and hopefully they can start to see a lot more success out of it. We really expected Lost Soul Aside to be a much bigger deal out of it, but we saw how that worked out. Uh, moving on to my third prediction, and there's a lot of places I can go here. I'm gonna go with this one. Corey's new game is finally revealed. It's a spin-off Atreus game. Most of the gameplay, you'll be using a bow and arrow and a lot of different animal transformations, and it's going to be set for release in 2027. Now, Fusion, I know you and me always talk about this damn Corey game and keep thinking it's going to get
It's
revealed,
not
but like,
space.
I don't think no, because like I think about what Schreier was saying, and listen, I like Schreier well enough. He really does piss me off when he starts vague posting like, the game will be something new, but not really. It's like, shut up, dude. But like, he was very much vague posting of like, oh, it's like kind of it's a not a new IP, but it's gonna feel like one. He was saying that a lot, which is just tell us at that point. Otherwise, though, that tells me that it is going to be something in the God of War universe, but it is not going to be Kratos. You're going to play as Atreus, which was something that was rumored quite a bit ago, and I think the rumors are going to kind of start swirling back up around this year. And we're going to see this game. We're going to get a reveal probably around like the September state of play, if I had to guess, and then we'll probably get like a full-on like release date trailer, all that. Release date trailer this year, and then release next year. That's what I mean.
My prediction for this was that this is the 2027 game that will be marketed as the big game out because of Intergalactic's push into the following year. It will be. I had it revealed at a PlayStation showcase in September. So,
Oh, shocker!
Of course.
They don't do showcases, bitch. How
I'm
many
gonna be
times-
right. I'm gonna be.
I mean, yeah, if you say it every year,
Right.
you will be right at some point.
I mean, he was the Oracle, so maybe this is the year.
So yeah, that was. I don't think it's God of War. I could
would say-
see the new I could see the IP being a weird sci-fi PlayStation IP that he said, well, let's just put it in that universe, even though it doesn't really have a universe. But go, I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel
what
like
was
that's
that game
something
that
he
Sony
might
Santa
do.
Monica made? Kinetica. It's in the Kinetica
but-
universe. Why not?
But I think it is a sci-fi game. It is a tentpole, big budget Sony game that Corey has been leading, and that will release in 2027. And I think we don't just get like a 2 or 3 minute teaser. I think we get an extended trailer, including gameplay, because it is here sooner rather than later. It's not like an Intergalactic, which was several years away during its reveal.
Did you have anything written down for Corey Fusion or
No, I didn't. Because I knew one of you would. I agree that his game will get shown this year. I disagree that it's God of War related. I don't think it is God of War related, but I'm 100%. It's got to be this year, dude. Now the September, like, I think the reveal window might be. I think it will be back half of this year, but I don't know why I keep leaning towards like a Corey game has to be at like the Game Awards, but like. September could 100% happen. Like if this was a state of play, like 1,000% could happen. So it's like I think you're right, and we do see a Corey game this year, and it is second half. I just think I disagree on it being God of War related.
I definitely could see like the Jeff Keighley like at the game. It's like someone who has won a game of the year before is revealing their brand new game now. That type of thing. I guess it's like I'm of the mind that it's a God of War related game just because of Schreier's comments, and maybe he's getting too much in my head, But like I don't know. I feel like you don't set a game in the Kinetica universe. That's just my opinion. And like I don't know what other universe Corey would be working on that would make sense to the point where it's like I just think it's gonna be another God of War game. And listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys are right. Because it's like, listen, I love God of War. I'm sick of God of War. We're getting a 2D game probably this year. And it's like, okay, I've had enough God of War. Let's do something somewhat different, guys.
I would also not put it past, honestly, would not put it past Corey for his reveal to be the mainline Egyptian God of War. You know what I mean? He wasn't working on Ragnarok, like he wasn't the director of Ragnarok. He'll be the director on the next God of War, and then it'll be, I forget the dude's name, Ted Williams or something.
No. Oh,
I forget his
Oh
name,
man,
but like whoever
his
the
name
other
was
dude is
Respawn.
who did Ragnarok, you know what I mean? It's like them, you know what I mean? Since they sound like they're trading off, I
Yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
100% see a world where Corey this entire time was working on the next saga for God of War.
Eric
And he,
Williams.
yeah, Eric Williams. So like, no, I gotta see that world where it's like Eric Williams isn't actually working on the next God of War. It's Corey directing it because they always do weird things over at Santa Monica, and Corey's very much secretive and everything else. So
Yeah, I mean that's the big rule of Sony Santa Monica. It's never the same person directing God of War games too. Like you're not gonna have like the God of War 1 director is not the same as God of War 2. Like if it's
yeah,
like sequential like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, you might be right there. I don't know. I'm very curious to see what this next chapter. Corey, we gotta just reveal this stupid ass game already
dude,
because I feel like we've been talking about this game for a while. But
we
it's
have
also
6
probably
years. It's like been 6 years since we talked
yeah,
about it.
it's also
Hmm.
very possible it got canceled. That's the thing though. Like it or like in some way what it, or was
Yeah,
originally going to be that game, it got like kind of retooled into a different thing and that's why it's been a while.
it's just the longer you're making me wait, the more I'm like, this is this a big game, Corey? Like I was like, oh, maybe this game's not very
This
big, but the
better
longer you're
be
making me wait,
good.
I'm starting to believe like it's gonna be a big budget game here. It's probably just him doing the 2D project with like some third party now. Like he's the studio lead.
Yeah. He's just like, I was bored.
Hmm.
Bench, what's your fourth prediction?
My fourth prediction is kind of like a two-pronged thing on the terms of the reception of the two big budget Sony games this year. I think Soros is a massive hit. I think it scores in the 90s and by the end of the year is in the top 6 at the Game Awards in what will be a stacked year. I think with Soros, I think it's like everything they've improved upon from Returnal. I think there is the twist that it is in the Returnal universe. I don't think it like means a whole lot, but I think they kind of do kind of try and build that out. And then for Wolverine, my prediction is Wolverine disappoints. I think it's kind of in the mid to high 70s. I think it'll sell all right. It won't be like the smash hit because of its critical reception. Just something smells funny about that game. And I hope to be wrong.
Wolverine did switch directors, so I don't think you're crazy for that. Specifically, of like smelling something funny. I will say, Bench, I did write down Saros will be the highest rated PlayStation published game this year. So I think we're both
Hmm.
in the mind that I think Saros is going to be the big hitter and like Wolverine's almost like the sales hitter. I definitely could see a case of what's it called? Wolverine comes out and it does maybe not disappoints like to the point of like
It
being
doesn't
mid to
reach its
high 70s.
potential.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think it will score as well as Spider-Man 2. Which, by the way, I
No.
think it'll probably be a better game than Spider-Man 2 in my eyes. But I think it will not score as well as Spider-Man 2, and I think it'll kind of come out as like, oh, this was not nearly the game that I think we were all expecting. You could kind of tell there was some leadership change behind the scenes. But otherwise, but I don't know, man. It's like Insomniac doesn't miss. I have reliance that they do know what they're
Yeah.
doing. So
And I
I'm
do think
curious. I
Wolverine is a September game.
Yeah, I think we agree there for sure. I'm on the mind of it
And
September as
with
well.
Wolverine, it does think I could get that sales bump because of Doomsday around the holidays because there is X-Men, but I think for the promise of we know they're cooking up a ton of X-Men games, I think they kind of don't deliver fully on that. And maybe they will in the second go around, but I completely hope to be wrong because it's such a cool premise, linear, bloody action game. I hope to be wrong. And for Soros, I definitely I have high expectations for this game. Unfortunately, I never beat Returnal because of its difficulty, and when I played it, you couldn't really save the game. I don't,
Yeah, that
maybe
was
I'll go
dumb.
back before. Maybe I could go back before for Returnal for Soros, but I think Soros is kind of like ever because I know a lot of people thought Returnal just had tiny little issues that made it more of an 8 out of 10, 7.5
Oh
to
man,
them.
it was like a 9 for me. I
But
love
I
Returnal.
think they take everything they've learned from Returnal, and I think the narrative is going to be very good. I think they haven't shown that off yet, and I'm expecting the gameplay to be great. I think we could come out of this and this be like the best first party PlayStation game in several years.
I think we're on the same wavelength when it comes to Saros. I don't know about the 6 TGA nominees just because like you can never really predict that very well. But like I do think like I could see it scoring in the 90s. I think Housemark is really gonna be unleashed with this game in a big way. I have very high expectations for it. I think they know what they're doing. Returnal was phenomenal, and I think this is just gonna be an improvement upon that formula.
And then one
yeah.
small prediction, because I don't know if it's going to fit anywhere. I think Ghost of Yotei gets DLC this year. I
Other than
think
Legends.
October, other than Legends, I think it gets story DLC, and with that DLC, I think you get a new weapon. And I think just a prediction on DLC based product, there was a secret Saito relative that is seeking revenge on Atsu for killing the entire family.
Well, it's just Saito has an uncle, and then you kill his uncle. Oh, I actually had another
Part of
uncle.
my thing is we know they had a sister that it was said to be dead, but maybe they're alive. I don't know. I think it's still something to do with Saito. I think you get a new weapon. I'm not sure what that'll be, but I think they in obviously new area, probably in the right part of the map, if you know what I mean, because it's kind of empty. And I think that releases in October.
No, fair. I'm curious, Fusion, what do you think about all that?
Oh, for one, it was a lot. For two,
Yeah, bro was
I'm
yapping.
I'm very high on Sorrows, but you guys are feeling like another even level high. Like I would not ever predict this game gets 90 plus, and maybe I'm just in the like. If you put a gun to my head, does Sorrows score higher than Wolverine? I would say no every time. Like I just don't see the studio Insomniac who's made so many games where their worst game in the last like 5-6 years is like an 87 on OpenCritic or something, where it's like Returnal. I think Cyrus is obviously going to improve on Returnal, but I still think there might be just enough there difficulty wise or something wise, weirdness wise, where it's just like we're not hitting that night. Like 90 to me sounds insane, and maybe I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's the part where I'm like, maybe I'm not as high on Saros as you guys, where I think this game looks great and is going to be great, but I also think there's going to be situations where Returnal was brand new. We've never played like really a game like that. Saros very much looks like a second Returnal, and you know how that does with freaking reviewers nowadays, where they're just like, well, it's kind of the same game, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Where it's just like the same people will be like, we're playing Returnal 2 basically, just with a different name. And obviously there's going to be improvements and everything, but like that scared me of like this game's a bona fide 90 plus game of the year contender.
I'd push back on that because I think this is going to be that big of a breakout. I think it's going to be very refined, and I do think there's going to be some gameplay twists that we don't expect. I don't think they're just going to run it back and it be just Returnal kind of clone with a male lead on a different planet. I think there's going to be some twists and all that in terms of gameplay, story, and everything. I think Housemarque is really going to break out on this.
And I hope you're right. Like I hope, but it's not like Housemarque doesn't have highly incredibly rated games as well. But I understand as your point of
but this
breaking
is a
out as
different
in
scale.
public breakout.
This is a different scale. Like Returnal was their first big AAA game. That was kind of that scale, and I think it was rough around the edges in terms of just different things about it. And I think this will be really well received.
Yeah, and like, so my only pushback is I think Wolverine does score better than Saros at the end of the day, but I think they're both going to do awesome. And I would disagree that I understand there has been some weird stuff with Wolverine. A lot of it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Their game they got hacked and leaked and everything. You know what I mean? Like I think Insomniac is a good enough dev, and why it's taken so long to get to this point of Wolverine is because it's going to be a successful launch. I think by far, obviously, we all know this is going to be one of the most selling video games of the year. It's obviously going to sell leaps and bounds more than Saros, which obviously doesn't mean anything quality wise at the end of the day. But I'm still pretty confident in the team over at Insomniac to deliver. Maybe it won't be a 91 like Spider-Man 2, but like I'd be shocked if it was less than an 87. Where it's like Saros is like I'm aiming for. If I'm Saros and Housemarque, I'm aiming for that 85, 88 range. Like I think that's the spot for Saros, where it's like they want to hit that spot. Any higher, that's awesome, and it could be possible. But I guess at the moment, maybe I need to see a little bit more to be really convinced. Because from our last showing, I was impressed, but I also was like, this is kind of just Returnal again, which is fine because Returnal's awesome, but they haven't shown me anything to this moment where I'm like, this is why they're going to jump up 6-7 points on OpenCritic.
I mean, I'd love to be wrong about Wolverine, so hopefully that's the case.
We will see. We will see. I'm very curious about that too. I don't think you're crazy for those predictions, Bench. Now, Fusion, let's see your fourth one. I want to hear something crazy. I want to hear you go so insane that we call you a loser and crazy for this.
I don't know how much. Well, I got a few.
or whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I mean, you're gonna. I'll say that this is kind of crazy. I don't know if it's crazy, but I'll say Guerrilla Games reveals 2 Horizon projects this year.
Oh shit,
One will be
that's
the in-house
crazy.
multiplayer game, and then the second will be a tease of the 3rd mainline entry. So I think this is a
Okay.
thing of like, I don't know if it's at the same time. It could be months
Showcase.
apart, but I think that a Horizon multiplayer game will be revealed this year. I don't know if it comes out this year because there's just so much on the docket right now, but it's possible it comes out this year. And I think at some point this year, they talk about Horizon 3. I don't know if it's a tease trailer, if it's just a logo, if it's something where it's just like officially this game's coming out and we can start marketing towards it.
I mean, I could see for like a Horizon 3 tease is like you get the logo and like a picture of whatever the location is. You have that like real world ruined area that kind of you get to
Seattle.
pinpoint where it is. And at the same time there's like one new monster roaming in the background. I could see that.
Yeah, like
I
I
could
don't.
see that for sure.
I think the one makes me crazy is them revealing 2 Horizon games in the same year when they haven't revealed anything in forever. They're kind of like sitting on their hand, but it's just like PlayStation really likes the Horizon IP. We have that MMO that's like I forget if it's this year or whatever, but like that's out there in the existence. I forget if the TV show is back on or whatever it is, the movie, whatever. They're like Horizon's an active IP that's being worked on that PlayStation really likes. I feel like the multiplayer game, this probably isn't the way they wanted to have this be revealed, but I think if they could tie up the multiplayer game with also saying, hey, for the non-multiplayer fans, the 3rd game's coming. Here's a reveal for that also. I think that would really work out for everyone who is involved in the Horizons
Mhm.
universe.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. Now you did say last year, Fusion, the Horizon multiplayer game would
Yeah,
get
I
revealed.
know. That's why it's like,
Why
well,
why do you think this is taking so long? Genuinely, like, do you? Because this is like something I was hearing from Mystic Ryan. He was talking about like, oh yeah, this was like leaking around like 2018. I'm like
yeah, it's been a long time.
2018. It's
Um,
I don't know. I'm of the mind. I'm with you. I do think it gets revealed this year. I just don't know why it's taken so long. It's Horizon Monster Hunter. Like that just feels pretty easy.
I th- there's a couple theories. I think the main theory is like that I would theorize is I think they know it has to be high quality. I think they're scared. I think PlayStation is scared after recent live service failures, where it's like we can't let Horizon come out and have a bad multiplayer game when this is one of our most selling franchise. Like this is up there with our God of Wars and everything else. We put it on the same pedestal as those other things. It can't come out and be bad. Where I think that's why that MMO that's not on console, it's like PC and mobile only. They like silently announced it, which I thought the game actually looked pretty decent, better than I expected. But it's like they didn't put that in a state of play for a reason. They don't want Horizon fans or even non-Horizon fans to be like, "What the hell has Horizon turned into?" Where I think they know it has to hit at some type of level of quality that is just taking a long time. I also think AAA games already take a long time, add a multiplayer element to it, and then it becomes a real shit show. So I don't know exactly why it's taking so long. I think it's just a mixture of them having to get it right, and then maybe them just waiting on the time for it to line up with the rest of PlayStation's games. And it's like even this year, if they announce that game this year, I don't know if it's this year because they have Marvel Tokon, they have Wolverine, they have Saros, they have this 2D game, they have Marathon. Like, where does a Horizon multiplayer game fit, especially with GTA taking the entire 2 months of the last year? I don't know, but it's like it's got to be revealed at some point. And I think because it's been so long, that's why that 3rd mainline entry game also gets revealed. Because I mean, it's been 5 years, I guess 4 years, 4 years
Yeah.
since the last Horizon game. Um, but a long time since the reveals where Horizon Zero Dawn came out in 2017, and then they revealed the new game in 2021. So I
Mhm.
don't know. It just lined up to me that Horizon as a IP has to be getting a new reveal soon for something.
I could see it. I could definitely see it. I think, honestly, at this point, I actually think the Horizon 3 is more believable than the multiplayer game just because of how long we've been predicting this multiplayer game. But as you said, it's like it's about time. You know, been too long since Horizon's been having an announcement. So, yeah, I guess so. There was the remaster, though. Don't forget about that.
There was
Yeah,
for some
that
reason.
that technically counts.
Yeah.
All right, let me get to my 4th prediction. Where do I want to go here? I kind of want to get weird. I kind of want to get maybe. You know what? I want to put this in stone because I mentioned this on most anticipated, but I think I want to put this in stone. GTA 6 will run 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, but it will be a really shitty version, making the 30 FPS version the real version of that game. Basically, I do believe there will be a 60 FPS version of that game, but it's just not going to run well. And everyone's going to go, yeah, it exists, but you're better off just running it at 30.
I
I
disagree.
think that's almost like the monkey paw.
I disagree. Either it's going to be a great 60 or it's going to be 30 or 40. You have the 40 option. I don't think
There's 40, yeah.
PlayStation would let that happen. And I guess obviously they can't technically do anything about it, but I think they'd give everything to Rockstar that if they were going to support the PS5 Pro to help get it a 60 FPS mode or just better. I don't think they'd want that bad press on the Pro with the biggest game of the year.
I'm curious where you fall in this future. I think you're right, Bench. There's definitely the case of like, oh, they wouldn't want that bad press or publicity for the PS5 Pro. But they've also kind of had that over the year with a lot of these PS5 Pro versions just running worse than the base versions or having technical issues that the base version doesn't. And almost telling me it's like, is PlayStation really that like hardcore about the PS5 Pro? Or are they kind of just like put it out there and letting it see what developers can do with it, not necessarily interacting with it themselves?
None of those are Grand Theft Auto 6. Plus,
Yeah, my
apparently,
Sure.
we have the new update that's coming, so I wonder if they try and push the GTA as utilizing all the new bells and whistles of PSSR 2.
yeah, I was gonna say my pushback with like examples of Silent Hill and Alan Wake, like few other games that don't run at a 60, like whatever they're supposed to on the Pro, they don't do it very well. I don't think that's because of the Pro or PlayStation. That's just the devs. Where I think Rockstar would not screw it up. Hopefully, you know what I mean. We're like,
No, but that's my thing though, Fusion. I think Rockstar would be the ones where, it's a technical thing, whatever. I guess we can get it to 60. That I feel like they don't care as much about that stuff.
but if they don't care, but they're the industry guys that talk about polish up until the end of the game. For like, this is why GTA takes so long. It's because of polish. So like, I
Sure.
think if Rockstar's doing a 60 FPS port for the Pro, it's going to be polished, or they're not doing it at all. Which is why I've said that the PS5 Pro will not get 60 FPS. But I'm
Mm.
on Binx's side that if it does, I think it would work, and it's going to work well. But I just do not believe, and I think it would work well because of PSSR. That's my thinking there. But I'm still in the mindset of I just don't think they're going to put this game out at 60 FPS at all because Rockstar doesn't care. If Rockstar cared, they would do it correctly. But I don't think Rockstar cares enough where they know, hey, our game's going to be the best fidelity you've ever seen. We have so many different systems. These NPCs are doing this. We can't do 60 FPS. Accept that, and everyone's just going to accept it. They can get away with it, and that's why they're not going to do it.
Well, Wolf, let me ask you this. If like the new PSSR 2 comes out, it's great and it's used in GTA 6 and GTA 6 has a really good 60 FPS mode, do you buy PS5 Pro?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll live with 30. I'm not spending $700 for something, but I definitely think you will get a lot more people buying PS5 Pros. Thing is, man, they're gonna look real silly if it doesn't have a 60 FPS mode because like, damn, I bought a Pro just for this game, and it'll probably still
Mhm.
run better, but it won't run at 60 FPS like a lot of people are expecting.
Mhm.
I definitely see where you guys are coming from. This is almost like I just kind of understand how Rockstar operates, but I think as you said, Fusion is like, hey, listen, if Rockstar really doesn't care, they just wouldn't even try a 60 FPS mode, which that's a great point. I'm very curious to see how they kind of maneuver around the PS5 Pro. But let's get into our final predictions. We got one more prediction each, and then we can rattle off our like extra predictions at the end. Bench, you're first
Mhm.
up. What do you got?
This is my biggest prediction of the bunch. Half-Life 3 comes to PlayStation as a console exclusive.
What the
It
hell?
will Half-Life
Console.
3
It's on Steam, right?
it's on Steam, yes, but
Okay.
on the console, it's not going to be on Switch 2. It's not going to be on Xbox. Well, and it's because of a deal struck with PlayStation. It will be not. It'll be marketed as one of PlayStation's bigger third-party games of the year. And I don't know if it'll be day one. I'd like to think it'd be day one, but by the end of the year, it'll be announced that Half-Life 3 is coming to PlayStation and only on PlayStation.
Dang, that's interesting because I was thinking I was gonna say for third-party predictions, I was gonna say Half-Life 3 is Steam exclusive. It's not on console at all, and I don't think it
Yeah.
ever comes to console, at least like until years later. Because I just think Steam, if Valve understands is like this is a big heavyweight game. If you were gonna play this game, you're gonna buy a PC for it. You're gonna play it on there, or you're gonna buy a Steam machine, which is gonna release
The
alongside.
thing is, I think because of Steam Machine and Steam Deck, it'll be very scalable.
That scalability isn't my thing here, Ben. I think they just don't want to put it on console.
That's
and I think
true.
they're like,
Yeah, I
come to
think it's only on
our platform.
PlayStation.
The last Valve game that came out on the console was 2012.
Nope,
Really?
you're wrong.
Oh,
What am I wrong about?
Portal 1 and 2 came on Nintendo Switch about a year or two ago.
yeah, that's actually a good point. That was in 2022. But those are ports, not
Yeah,
new.
I'm talking about a new game. The
Well-
last new game to come on the console was
I know.
2012.
Which one was that? Was this No, CS was
And
on.
I do think this is a PlayStation initiative. This is them pushing to
It was
get Half-Life
CS
3.
Global Offensive.
Oh, that was on console?
Yeah, in
Ew.
2012.
This
Literally,
is
Ew.
like
since
a
then, they've
PlayStation.
never released. It's been only Windows and Linux.
That's
is
I
so
think this is an
different.
insane prediction because what's the point? Like, you don't sell Steam. You're not going to sell the Steam machine by saying, "Hey, our biggest game we've ever made is also on your PlayStation."
Well, I'm not saying it'll be day one. It could be announced like at the Game Awards or something that it will, or at a PlayStation event that it's coming. But it could be like 6 months to a year afterwards. I just think it happens.
So I don't see these Switch port. Did Valve themselves do the port for the Switch?
They did Portal 1 and 2, like a companion collection for Switch 1, like 2022. That's how I played those games.
I mean, Half-Life 1 and 2 were on Xbox, weren't they?
No, Half-Life 1 was on PS2 and Xbox. You're right about that, but like it was a very scaled down version. Half-Life 2 was on the orange box on 360. But also, you got to remember, Bench, Gabe Newell has publicly, like around the PS3 360 era, he was like, man, consoles suck. Now, granted, he was talking about those consoles specifically, but he also, that was like a big deal where Portal 2 was coming to PlayStation 3 and 360 on day one. But as Fusion also mentioned, it's like Valve hasn't released a game on console since 2012. But also, Fusion, I would throw out there, they haven't really released a game since 2012. There was Artifact and Half-Life Alyx, which is like, those are PC games.
True, but I like Dota. I
Okay,
also
but
PC
Dota,
game, but like
Those
Dota.
I'm not playing Dota 2.
Campaign. This is a different type of game. It's a single player campaign. They haven't made one of those. Half-Life Alyx, sure VR, but in a long time. And this, I know this is like a left field wild prediction that I wanted to end on, but I could see it happening.
I don't think it's crazy, Bench. I think it could come onto console. I don't know if PlayStation secures it. I think it's almost like it's not a PlayStation marketing thing. I bet it's just Valve like, why would we release on Xbox? They're just like, we're not gonna release on Xbox.
I mean, that's true, but I think it is exclusively on PlayStation. I think part of it is that they only have to work with one console. Part of it is nobody plays on Xbox. And I think the game, it could have maybe switched to, but I just think on PlayStation.
Yeah, Switch 2 would be later. I do think that if they were, because they do have a good relationship with Nintendo.
At least we all agree it exists.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think it comes out. At least it sounded like you were saying day and date. That's what it sounded like.
It's very possible, but I it could lean either way. I'm not going to go that hard on the prediction.
I mean, that would be really cool. That just seems insane for like from a Steam machine perspective, where it's just like, hey, the reason you should get a Steam machine probably for all these people who are like aren't NPC and stuff, you can just use your PS5, which I guess if they want to sell Half-Life, but yeah.
Fusion, what's your fifth and final prediction?
That one's crazy. I don't know, but I don't have nothing of that level.
Yeah, that is psychotic.
I'll do this. I'm stuck between two here. I'm gonna stick to kind of the PC centric one actually. Since big shit the PC. I think PlayStation officially launches cross-buy, which was like that. Xbox Play Everywhere basically. Just they're gonna not call it that and use this cross-buy reference. I think they're gonna officially launch a cross-buy system, and it starts with MLB The Show coming to PC.
Oh yeah, that's not on PC yet, is it?
No, it's not on PC. And we know there was like a LinkedIn or something talking about how one of the people, someone at LinkedIn that works for what's that studio? San Diego was like,
Yeah.
it was specifically something about bringing a port to PC or something about PC gaming. So I think if PlayStation wants to do this cross-buy thing, what's the perfect game to test it on? A multiplayer like sports game. So I think they're gonna officially launch cross-buy with PC. I think we saw the little image that cross-buy obviously exists. That term, that phrase, it could be for the next gen console and the handheld or whatever they're doing. It totally could be for that. But I think it could also be a PC thing where it's like, hey, we're starting to lean more towards a lot of our games being maybe day and date or PC or quicker on PC. You buy it once, just like on Xbox, you'll get it over on the PC platform.
Do saves crossover?
Yeah, cross save, cross buy. It would be their version of Xbox Play Anywhere. They just won't have a cute name for it. They'll literally just call it cross buy.
Cute
Yeah.
name.
Like, they literally just gonna call it what it is.
I could see that for sure. I think that's actually a really safe prediction. I mean, we saw cross-buy getting what's called leaked a few months ago, and I think PlayStation's kind of been interacting with the PC player base more and more. I could definitely see that where it's just like, hey, you know what, we're gonna go full in. It's like if you buy a game on PlayStation, you buy it on PC, and like it would probably coincide with hopefully not a launcher. Hopefully it's like if you buy it on PlayStation, it's like you get a Steam version, but knowing PlayStation, they probably have their own launcher, which is just going to be kind of annoying. Otherwise, though, yeah, I think that's a good prediction.
Not gonna lie, it actually kind of makes more sense for Marathon to be the first game. but anyway, think about that. Because Marathon,
MLB The Show comes out first. That's the thing.
yeah, but Marathon is just like, that just feels so seamless. Where it's like, hey,
No, that's fair.
your cross save, your cross play, whatever. Like, here we go. Like, if you can play it on your PlayStation, you play it on your PC, so you'd have to pay $40 for both sides. But yeah, either way, I think cross buy will be officially like a thing they launch this year.
Mm-hmm. I have one more. Now, here's the thing. I have a lot still.
Me
Like
too.
I wrote down a lot. I'm debating on like one that like makes sense, is something that could definitely happen, or do I go something very funny?
Swing for the fences, Wolf.
This isn't really a swing. Well, it's kind of a swing for the fences. It's related to us.
Do it.
And the Slicer Gaming Group. I'll go for it. A PlayStation published game will be in Bob's top 5 for Soggies.
Wow.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it now. It's Saros. I think
He's
Bob
a Saros
is gonna
guy?
grow up. I think he's gonna be a Saros guy. He put it on his most anticipated. I think he's gonna really be digging it. I believe. Now, granted, Bob's not very good at games, and this game might be hard. But I think he's gonna push through.
Scary.
That's true. It could be scary.
But
I think he's gonna play it. I think he's gonna play it. I think he's gonna really get into it. And when I say top 5, it's like number 5. It's not gonna be his goatee. But I think it's like, damn, I really dig that game. It almost coincides with I don't think this is going to be a very bop year for games in general, but I think Saros will be like a one standout where it's like he's going to play, he's going to be like, this is awesome, I'm into this. Sony, you're the goats. I love you, Sony. Have my baby.
It will literally be his favorite PlayStation game like of all time.
Yeah,
hopefully Saros
maybe
has a car you can get out of.
That's true. If it had a car. If you had a car for like 5 seconds, but you could get out of it, he's like, "Fuck this game! I don't want to play it anymore." I genuinely think Saros is gonna hit for Bop in a big way.
I could 100% see that, and that would be hilarious. And like, I'd just be pissed because like Astrobot, how like he did Astrobot so dirty.
Yeah, what the hell was that about?
Well, I mean, I think he's got to see the light at some point. Like, obviously, he just doesn't like he still cares about Xbox, but like he's mainly a PC gamer now. Like a lot of people in the Discord, but like he's got to reach for the DualSense at some point, and it's gonna call for him, like the Green Goblin mask.
Exactly. He's gonna go like, you know what? I do like my sticks like this, the dual sticks in the center. But yeah, that's me just kind of being funny, but like I could see it. I have a bunch more I want to read through. I assume you guys do.
I have 2 more.
Yeah, you throw them out, Bench. We'll go with the order. Just like not gonna set in stone. Just like throw them out there.
Both of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Death Stranding 2 will get a director's cut-esque free update. A free update with new gameplay content. Maybe it's either VR missions, new deliveries, or like a couple new like gameplay things that you can mess around with in the world on top, and that will be released alongside a PC release.
That's I see that. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. New content, new stuff and the PC release right alongside it. Yeah, that's a good prediction.
And then Marathon will get off to an incredibly rocky start. It will not have a great launch. It will garner a lot of criticism. But by the end of the year, it will gather a small but vocal fan base that likes the game. And the game will improve throughout the year and kind of be like a game in progress, I guess, as some of those like early multiplayer games are. But as a result of that, Bungie will be fully brought into the PlayStation fold. They won't be the golden separate child anymore. They will be a PlayStation studio and get treated as such.
It's funny, Bench, because my Marathon prediction is kind of similar to that. Because I wrote down Marathon will not flop, but it also won't be an Arc Raiders level of success. It will be reviewed fairly well. Probably, I was thinking like low 80s, mid 80s. With a comfortably sized player count and a dedicated community, Bungie and Sony will still be disappointed by its sales, though. I think it will do well and people will be into it, but I just don't think it's going to be like a massive, oh my God, everyone's into this, everyone's playing it. But I also think, like you say, I think it will have a long tail and more people will get into it, kind of like with the first two Destinies, really.
Yeah, I could see it like in a year it really take off. I just think
Yeah.
despite the delay, I think the game will be in a better place launch, but I think it's really going to be a community built game. There's going to be a lot of community feedback, even more so than throughout like the quiet betas and all that. I think it's going to be built with the community, whether you like that or not, as the game's not coming out finished and like a lot of people wanted, but it will be better for it.
Fusion, what do you think about all that?
I don't completely disagree with either. I would the only I think it's gonna launch better than Binks is giving it credit, but I don't disagree with I think it is going I don't think it's gonna sell Arc Raiders levels or like some crazy this is gonna be the next I don't think it will sell Destiny levels, but I think it will have, like you both said, a community of players where even if it's talking Steam side, 40,000 players a day a year later, that's really impressive for a multiplayer game like this. You know what I mean? Something about like, I think they want to aim for like that. I've said it before, but like that low tier Rainbow Six Siege success, if that makes sense. Where it's like we're talking about Rainbow Six Siege still 11 years later. It's like it's not the most played game anymore, whatever. The glory days are gone, but it's still a game where it's like you log on to Steam, it's one of the top 10 games every day that people are playing because it's just they have a fan base that has continued to come out. And if Bungie's done anything successfully well, it's even if they have rocky areas or rocky DLCs, rocky starts, it seems like they always have good faith and years later they bring people back. Bungie's really good at least bringing people back to try
Yeah.
something. Even if they don't
I
stick, they're good at bringing people back.
guess another
Good point.
Bungie related prediction is that Destiny 2 will be announced have no new content coming. They're going to recycle seasons and stuff as the content moving forward. And then throughout that, you're going to see rumors, kind of substantiated rumors of a small team beginning work on Destiny 3.
I can see that, and I do agree. I think Bungie at some point this year fully becomes on their PlayStation Studios. They're not like
Yeah,
working
same.
by themselves at all. Like I think even if Marathon does fantastic, I think it's just at a point where PlayStation is like, hey, you're not
A little
independently
too much.
doing this anymore. You're just becoming one of us. Like you're completely becoming one of us. I think that will be for the better. I think again, if they get, even if Marathon did Helldivers 2 levels, I think PlayStation just wants to take full control of Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fusion, what about your extra predictions? You want to throw them
Yeah,
out?
I got three here. They're pretty quick. My first one, Dark Outlaw Games will reveal their studio's first game in the September State of Play, which I know sounds kind of crazy because they were just announced as a studio last year. But this is Jason Blundo's studio for the people who aren't familiar with him. Who I think he was at Fire. Was it Firewalk? Which one got shut down? Or
It
Fire
was
Sprite? Whatever.
it was a deviation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Deviation. Yeah. Where he was at Deviation and then nothing came of it. But I think, and then he came over here and now he's we've known of the creation of this studio since last year, early last year. So like, but I for some reason feel like they're going to reveal their new game this September. Like it's going to be the September State of Play like closer or something. This is the game they're going to put out there.
I mean, that's
We're
not too
seeing,
crazy because we did see that 4 loop game get announced
yeah.
pretty quickly afterwards.
And I think the studio's been under wraps and they've been working hard since Deviation, but they didn't fully announce the studio was formed until last year. I think it was that thing of they probably had 2 years there, maybe a year and a half, where the studio was a thing. They just never formally announced it. Kind of like the other Bungie studio, the Team LFG, where it's like we had reports that they had this studio spun off like 2 years before they were like, hey, this is an official studio. I think it's similar to that.
No, that's a good prediction. I could definitely see that happening.
My second one is, I think another Jason Schreier article drops with the cancellation of 1 or 2 more live service games that we didn't know existed, similar to like Blue Point and Ben and those. I think it's going to be another one of those.
Are there any left?
I don't know. That's why I said 1 or 2. I think it'll be very minimal. It could just be 1, and it could be fair games for all I know. But it's going to be a Jason Schreier article of, hey, it might be the 2 last live service games that PlayStation's working on, and they're just still working on them. I think at some point this year, he could put another article and be like, "Hey, same time next year, these games just aren't coming out."
Is that a Team LFG game? Maybe that's the one that gets canceled.
Yeah,
the
maybe
fraud-based game.
I mean, maybe it's Horizon game. Who knows? Like, I just think
Yeah.
at least 1. I put 1 or 2 because that last article was 2, and maybe I forget if there was even a third one that was talked about. But like, I just see where we're honestly over the hump of that live service push, where there's got to be some stragglers that we don't know about that's gonna get canceled.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that too.
And then my last one was PlayStation revives an old IP. I don't know what the IP is. That's why it's very vague. I didn't put it on the list because it felt too safe or just felt too broad. But I think it won't come out this year. But I think at some state of play, sometime throughout this year, there will be a reveal of PlayStation reviving an old IP from either PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, a 20-year-old IP, either that Resistance or Killzone, whatever it is, they'll revive an old IP.
I maybe. I don't know. I just feel like it's like I can't think of anything that would be in the middle of development right now. Maybe we get a logo. Maybe it's like, oh, here's this logo for like Resistance 4 or SOCOM 8 or whatever. I don't think Sony's that interested in going back to their old IP, at least right now.
Me neither, which is why this was like the farthest back one on my list, and that's why I didn't put it initially, because I was like, this probably isn't going to happen, and it's really broad. Like, I didn't pick an IP. I just think it'd be really cool if they like came out and they're like, what something? It could be an old IP I could care less about. Just do one of them.
I just imagine Horizon 3 gets announced. It's like, well, it's been a while since Forbidden West, guys. I think that counts. Okay, no, I respect those predictions. I gotta throw out mine now. I had a bunch. So I put out, I already said PlayStation shutting down Ben's studio. I don't fully believe that, but that was just one I was thinking about. I was tired of predicting this stupid game. September state of play, Fire Sprite reveals Until Dawn 2 for 2027. I'm sick of. I was gonna have that as my last one, but I'm like, I'm so tired of predicting this game because I don't even give a shit about it. As a Fair Games canceled, Haven Studio shut down. This was similar to what Bench said earlier. Highest rated PlayStation published game this year will be Soros, which I do very much believe that happens. I then said Media Molecule game gets revealed, no date, new IP, and will look super sick. At least I will be into it. I don't really think that happens. I just wanted to throw that out because I want to believe in Media Molecule. And then I threw out Marvel Tokon will be well liked, but not a supernova success like Street Fighter 6. Have a very small character roster from what was originally expected, about 16 characters. And then Sony and ArcSys will be kind of happy with the sales. I think it will be a moderate success. People will be into it, but I think a lot of the disappointment is, man, there's not a lot of characters. Like we expected a lot more, and there's just like 16 of them. And then I threw out, I'm curious what you think about this, Fusion. Intergalactic is re-revealed. We get a full gameplay trailer, no date. It's revealed to be a Souls-like. Which I just think, like, you look at those Neil Druckmann interviews, and it's like, man, he's really into FromSoft in a big way.
I could see that. I do think it is a meaty RPG. I don't know if that's like full Souls-like. I don't think it's like a Last of Us style game where it's linear. You're going to different locations and different chapters of the story. I don't know if it's open world, but I'm expecting a meaty RPG that's like probably at least double the length and amount of content of what they normally make, and hence why it's taken so long. And I think it's whenever it comes out, it'll be well received.
Yeah, obviously that's definitely going to happen. It's going to be a well received game.
I don't think it will be a full Souls-like, but I think it will be that middle ground. Hear me out. I think Intergalactic will just be Hell Is Us.
Oh.
I look at Hell Is Us. I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's what they're going for. Where it's like, I wouldn't call the Hell Is Us gameplay at all Souls-like, but think of the way they do stories and think of the way they do
Souls-adjacent,
narrative. Yes, Souls adjacent, where it's like, I think and that's what gets me excited. I think if they go full Souls, they lose me a little bit. But I think if they go Hell Is Us way, where it's like you have to pay attention to what these NPCs are telling you, or you might get a map and it says, "Hey, go to the southeast quadrant," and you have to go there. Compared to where Naughty Dog's very much point A, point B storytelling. I think if it's that, that's what I think it will be, which I think lines up with your Souls like. I think it lines up with Neil liking Elden Ring. I think he'll take elements from Elden Ring, like the exploration, but I don't think they're going to go so hard in the combat of
Yeah.
this is a super hard Souls like, and also like
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be super hard. That's my thing. That's kind of like I think it's very Souls like adjacent, where it'll be the gameplay styling.
yeah,
of a
that makes
Souls-like.
sense, and like yeah, and I could like I don't think we're gonna have enemies that like when you camp in last and intergalactic they're gonna respawn. Like that doesn't seem like
Mhm.
what they would go for, and I honestly hope that's not what they go for. But if they do something like Hell Is Us, which is Souls adjacent, I'm all for that. I think
Yeah,
the
that's
way
fine.
Neil is obsessed with that type of storytelling right now, and he doesn't just want to give you the narrative. I think if he could do that Hell Is Us type stuff, but also give us big budget Naughty Dog cutscenes that do get the narrative directly across to you, like a mixture, I think that would be awesome.
I definitely think it's going to be like a mix. I think it'll be you're looking around, the world is kind of telling you a story in and of itself, but you'll also get like a big cutscene where our main protagonist finds the villain and it's like they're monologuing and whatnot. It's like the classic Naughty Dog style. I
And
am
it's
just of the mind. It's like I think it's so clear. You read these interviews, you watch him, and it's like Neil is obsessed with FromSoft games. I would be shocked if this does not take any inspiration.
and obviously this is not FromSoft. This is not FromSoft style level design. But if you think about Seattle Day One and Last of Us Part Two, when it's you and Dina and you're riding the horse and you have the little map and it's kind of open world, open zone,
Yeah, it's definitely
and
like
like
something they're looking at.
yeah,
Uncharted 4.
and you're reading notes and it's like this note says, hey, at this bank use this locker code, and it's like now you're going to have to it doesn't mark that on the map, or I forget if it
Mhm.
does, but it's like you have to go look at which one of these buildings is the bank building, and then you go in the bank building and then you find the safe. It's like they have experience, they
They have
have experience
inklings.
there, yeah, with like making what is it, environmental storytelling work.
Yeah,
But I think this
environmental.
time they're going fully in on that environmental storytelling, which is scary and also exciting for me as a huge Naughty Dog fan. Is like I love what Naughty Dog does, and no one else other than maybe Rockstar does that direct storytelling narrative as good. So it's like if they get completely away from that, maybe it won't hit as well. But I do think they have to take some type of leap here, some type of jump where it's like, hey, we're gonna still do that, but we're also gonna add the elements of modern storytelling in games right now, where it's like we're not gonna tell you everything. You're gonna have to pay attention and learn some stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, because I mean, like, I do very much believe in that like indirect storytelling because like he didn't even just cite Souls likes, he cited Inside, where it's like it's
Yeah.
very clear Neil wants to take this in a very different direction, I think, and I'm all for it. I'm very excited to see what that is.
And
Um,
I'm happy you brought up Marvel Tokon fighting because I thought none of us were going to bring it up. And I was like, do you guys think that hits this year? Because that game's
Yeah.
really
I
good to me where we haven't seen it much. I sounded like the alpha stuff that people played. Not everyone was a fan of it. Like from the things I heard, is like it sounded like it was kind of like still
People were
pretty
saying it
early
needs
and like
time.
yeah, it needs time. It's like, is this a thing where if it is this year, where do you put it? Like, where does it fit in the timeline? Because I believed if it was this year, we would have already known the date of it coming out. So maybe February next month we get a date, but it's like this feels like it has to be pre-August or it's not this year to me.
I'm with you that it's pre-August. I think it's June. I think you get the date at the February State of Play, and I think it's like, hey, it's a pretty short reveal to release, and that's why it's like all year last year.
Maybe
I'm like, we need to get a character reveal. So if this is going to be a big roster, and
Uh-huh.
now we're at the point where we are now, it's like, okay, this is going to be a very small roster, very clearly. If
yeah.
we haven't gotten any character reveals still,
I definitely think at one of the 3 Jeff shows this year you'll get the season pass reveal.
the Jeff
Or at
shows.
least Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, or
The season pass, season pass.
Gamescom?
Okay, I was confused for a second.
Gamescom. You'll get the at least the first DLC character, if not the full suite of season 1 revealed.
And I think we'll look at the amount. It's like, man, that is so tiny. Like I think the
Mhm.
expectation when they were saying 4v4 is, this is going to be like a 30+ character roster. Arxis is really going in on it. And, you listen to a lot of, like, I listen to a lot of Maximilian, dude, and he was like, yeah, I mean, you look at the character models, they're not nearly as detailed as, like, what's the other game they make? Guilty Gear. It's not nearly as detailed, so that's because they're going to make a lot of characters. And I think at this point, it's clear, it's just like, that's not going to be the case, which is frustrating because I feel like with Marvel, you want to have a lot of characters. So it's like, it's like, 16 characters. Dog, I don't want to go online and it's like 5 times out of my 10 matches I see Doctor Doom. Like, I want to see other guys. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my opinion on Marvel Tokon. It's like we will be interested. It will be I don't know about us. None of us are fighting game people. Most people will be very happy with the game. They'll be satisfied with it. But it's like, damn, we wish there were more characters. And then I have 2 more here, real quick. KOTOR remake re-revealed. PlayStation is not involved with it whatsoever. You will not see a single PlayStation logo or like, PlayStation Productions or anything like that, like it was originally. I think that's completely separate, and you just get to see the remake revealed, and it's kind of like, who's it at now? Saber. You get the Saber logo and whatnot, but like PlayStation's not involved in whatever this project is.
Interesting.
I can agree with that.
And then one more is major PlayStation game announced for Switch 2, probably Horizon Zero Dawn. I think PlayStation just wants to try to get some stuff on Nintendo devices. We saw that with Lego Horizon Adventures. It clearly didn't do too crazy, but I think PlayStation really wants to experiment with like one of their bigger, more tentpole games. So I think they do like a Horizon or maybe a God of War. Try that out on Switch 2, see how it does.
Ooh, that's
But yeah.
interesting. For what, I keep forgetting Marathon's on Xbox.
Yeah,
That's an
that's
Xbox
the
game.
thing. I think they're releasing on multiple platforms.
I just, if you said it, if it's any IP, they're gonna give the Switch and his Horizon.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with giving Horizon away. But I don't know. I'm more lenient to say no, but I like the prediction. I think that's a cool
Yeah,
prediction.
I'm not
Hey,
fully confident. That's why I didn't put it on.
like
But
with Marvel Tokon, would that work on the Switch?
yeah, for sure. I think
So it's like,
fighting game. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of fighting game players that would want to play it on
that's
Switch.
what I mean. Like, I think that would be really fun. Granted, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's why it's taking so long. They're like, hey, we're also on Switch too, guys. I think that would be pretty cool. But I think it is more likely that it is like an older game at this point that they're gonna port over, and like, I could see that work. And Horizon's definitely that franchise where they're just like boost the numbers, put it on there.
Try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everything. I think we pretty much talked about every game coming out from Sony as well, pretty extensively. Long episode, but man, I love these. I love my predictions.
Yep.
I think we all had some good stuff. Just to recap, so from me, 2D God of War game gets revealed, 2.5D Metroidvania. Corey game revealed to be the Atreus spinoff. Sony sets up a new studio in Japan with a major Japanese developer attached to it. GTA 6 will have a 60 FPS mode on PS5 Pro, will not run well. And then a PlayStation published game will be in Bob's top 5, probably Saros. Bench said extended life cycle for PS5 leaked to 2028, 2029 for PS6. We don't hear from Fair Games or Intergalactic. Schreier articles come out. Fair Games is retooled and goes dark for several years. Intergalactic is 2028. Last of Us Season 3 is delayed indefinitely. Saros scores in the 90s. Big hit. Wolverine disappoints. Doesn't sell insanely well. Mid to high 70s score. And then Half-Life 3 is PlayStation console exclusive. Maybe not day one. God bless that one. And then Fusion. We don't hear anything from Bluepoint and Bend. Sony acquires Giant Squid. New PlayStation Hero project set up in South Korea or South America. Guerrilla reveals 2 games, Horizon Multiplayer and Horizon 3. Multiplayer release probably this year, possibly this year. And then PlayStation launches cross-buys, starting with MLB The Show coming to PC. We know who the safe one is. I'll say that.
I think it's you.
No, what? I said a PlayStation game is going to be in Bob's top 5. I think that's the biggest swing out of all of these, to be honest. But no, I like their predictions. I think they're fun. I'm very curious to see how we do next year. Which, man, considering how we did last year comparatively, I feel like we'll do a lot better. I'll say that. I think our predictions are a bit more down to earth.
Yeah, I think we understand. Other than the Half-Life one, which is insane. I think we're more like. I mean, honestly, acquiring Giant Squid is also kind of insane. Really, with like, just because like you can't. I don't think anyone's ever predicted like a studio getting acquired ever correctly. You know, what I mean, it just doesn't happen. That's why.
Yeah.
Like it's And like, I strongly doubt that would happen, but I think it'd be cool for both sides.
For sure. I think that's it. We already talked about most of what we've been playing, unless Benchy wanted to shout out these last few things.
Yeah, I'll shout out Hogwarts Legacy. It's been a pretty fun open world game to kind of just kill some time. I'm enjoying it. Combat's been honestly surprisingly fun. I got the PS Portal. Surprising piece of tech. It works very well, and I'm excited to kind of use that more as I go to and from class. In Trails Beyond the Horizon, I've already played the Japanese variant of it, Kaino Kaseki, but this replay, I'm already 6 hours in, very much enjoying myself, and I'm going to do it all 70 hours again.
Hell yeah, man! Excited to play some games. Big backlog January is upon us. We'll see what we all play, unless I decide to pick up Code Vein 2, which I won't. So it's gonna mostly be backlog stuff. Probably till
Fusion won't be
RE9 for me
gaming.
at least. Yeah, what happened to Shame Fusion? Bro likes to talk about games.
High guard next week, baby. I'm there.
Oh wait, true. That's gonna release by next. Do you guys actually think it's gonna release? Like, what's
I mean,
the deal with that?
Unless
Yeah,
they announce a delay over the weekend, it has to.
People
Yeah.
are at we're just at a preview of it.
I don't know. But apparently it's like doing pretty well behind the scenes. So maybe we're surprised. It's like, wait, actually this bangs. But not saying anything since your reveal is weird to me.
RE9 is gonna slap.
Yeah, very excited for that. There was the showcase
Yep.
yesterday. I didn't watch it because I was like, I already seen enough, but very excited for
Leon gameplay looks crazy.
my goat, man, my goat. But anyways, I think that's it for this episode of Slice of Gaming Podcast. Big long one, but honestly, that's our PlayStation predictions. And we were also catching up on holiday news and whatnot. So I think we're ready to head out. We talked way too much about Xbox. I realize that now. I'm very disappointed in us. But otherwise, I think we did a great job. If you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are. We're on it. Like the podcast, and then follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. Anyways, with that, I think we're gonna head out. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Fusion's a fraud.